Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, look, we are live. Okay, let's do the intro.
Real
Yes,
professional and shit.
everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this week we have Billy.
Yeah, I'm Billy from Airstrip One, so it's all going well here so far. Still here, so it's good.
Nice.
It's nice. It's full
We
of hash
also
as well.
have.
So
Do we have Chad Westport?
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Fuck yeah!
Whoa!
What's up, bro?
Fuck yeah!
You made it just on time. Just on time. What's up, man?
Chilling. There we go. Heyo. I'm stoked to be here with you guys, and we've got the roving reporter with us today too. It's an extra bonus for me.
Nice. Yeah, well, and thanks for coming to join us, man. We don't have Monkey or Margaret this week. They are busy with other things. But Margaret, she assures me, she said, I won't be here this week spending time with family, and then I'm there next week, but not the week after. But after that, I'm going to be there all the time because, summertime's coming to an end. Marge likes to get out of the house when it's summertime. Of course, you got to absorb as many rays as you can when you live in Canada,
Yeah, hey, at this latitude, absolutely, man. Or maybe it's a longitude. I never get those right, but
Same. I don't know. Which one. I think long must be across, right? No, I'm not even going to guess. It's a 50-50 chance anyway. He might get it right by chance. Who knows? Well, yeah, man. What are you smoking on, Chad? You got something nice?
yeah. Actually, I just got some no joke with me. It's actually the last
cool.
bud in this jar, but yeah, getting ready to enjoy this with you guys.
Nice. Is that your weed? No joke.
It is. It is. It's something that I've
Nice.
worked on. So, like my two keepers, the Westport grape juice and the no joke. I reversed the Westport grape juice onto onto the Kool-Aid Man. Sorry, Kool-Aid Man and Westport grape juice. That makes the no joke.
Mm-mm. What's it taste like? There you go.
Ooh, it's like a caramel
Oh, you're breaking up a bit there, Chad.
and berries and
Internet issue. You're breaking
sorry.
up just a
Okay.
bit.
It's oh shoot.
Oh,
Okay.
you're back now. You're back. I just wanted to make sure we got that description.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's man, it's like a carnival in your mouth. That's usually what I
Oh,
say. It's very fruity. It's got some tropical. It's got some berries. But it's an explosion, man.
nice. Very cool. I've got some Stilton Special from Mephisto. I'm good and high already. I'm smoking that. What have you got this week, Billy? You probably got some hash and all sorts of shit going on.
Yeah, I've got some White Widow with some hash in it. I just just done 3 pre-rolls for it, but I did press some hash, so yeah, it was nice freshly pressed hash.
Sweet. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's just the three of us. We're gonna
Oh,
be high as fuck. Oh yeah.
As Chad's here, I actually got some of his seeds on tissues, like not in that sort of way, but actually like his what are they? They're
Jesus.
Gruber hands. I've got some.
Jesus.
I better clarify what type. I didn't steal them from under his bed or nothing like that. Like that's what I want to say. Like put that statement out there.
Thanks for clarifying that for us, Billy.
Yeah, it's okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
appreciate that.
But yeah, I've got some Gruber hands which I'm just gonna be sticking in some soil. So I'm looking forward to trying that one.
Oh,
Sweet.
very excited. Thanks for I'm so happy that things have flown over there and are getting experienced by all the awesome Percy Grow Rooms people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Loads of people growing all of Chad's beans and some monkey beans as well. Yeah, everybody's happy. It's very nice. I should give it a shot soon. I need to grow some. I want to do some Nakatomi Plaza or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
nice as well. I've grown that one out. That's a lovely plant. That one.
Lots of options, man. Anyway,
I want,
we're here.
I want that one myself too. I have more beans myself, but I do my testing run and then I just kind of kill them. But
Mhm.
I'm almost empty on the jars, and I'm like, I really like that one.
Yeah, that's a bitch when the plant goes and you don't have a cut or something as well, so it won't be the exact same. It's that's shit. But anyway, we got some news stories to cover, of course, everybody, as we do every week. Cover the cannabis news and events. Let's have a quick look at some of these. We have how do cannabis consumers intend to vote in the U.S. presidential election? Some interesting statistics there. We'll cover that one first. We'll get to it straight away so we can look at all the gory details when we get to it. But we're just trying to find out how much of a big issue cannabis is in the upcoming US election, and whether it's a deal breaker for some people as well. So interesting studies have been done. We'll go and find out about that in a bit. We got some crazy shit. Londoners warned against scanning QR codes advertising cannabis. And fucking people don't get their phone out in London to scan QR codes, you crazy bastards. It's not safe. You know what I'm saying, Billy? Would you get your phone out in London?
I wouldn't even go to London, but if you got your phone up, you'd need the stab-proof jacket just to make sure, though, wouldn't you? Just saying.
Then Morocco's king pardons more than 4,800 cannabis farmers. Nice. Wow. See what's happening there up in Morocco. Interesting. Calls for updated CBD laws to end sales to under 18s in Guernsey. I didn't know that was happening. Yeah, that's an interesting one. And then one from Chad here. A decade into legalizing cannabis, underage use has plummeted. Yeah, and that's something which we've discussed before in the past. Places like legalize seem to see a fall in teen use because it's not taboo anymore. You know, it's not rebellious to smoke cannabis when you're allowed to. You know, so yeah, there's the stories. We've got 5. Nice and easy, right? Lots to cover.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah, and then of course we have the grow guides as well, but we are on germination, which we did last week. But before we move on to like veg and all that shit, I think we got a few weeks here to discuss little different things in the background. Like this week, we want to be covering mistakes that you might make so you can avoid them as you start and throughout your grow, as a new grower and shit. So just to get you prepared while the plant's going from the seedling stage to the vegetative stage. So this week we'll be covering the mistakes to avoid. I thought that would be a good topic. Yeah. And then next week we'll talk about veg, I think. Sounds like a plan.
It's a good order to do it in.
Yeah, you're just making sure everybody's prepared and they know what to expect, Savant says, Mackie, I'd rather grow illegally in a successful country. Well, sorry, I should finish reading that. I was just like, damn, preach, bro. But yeah, I'll read it out. Mackie, I'd rather grow illegally in a successful country so cannabis won't necessarily influence my vote. Very true. It's a good way of putting it, man. It's a good way of putting it. And, if you're not listening to the episode live, drop a comment in the comments, and let us know what you think. Is it a deal breaker for you? Is it a big issue on the ballot this year for you? Let us know what you think. But of course, the comment section needs to be polite and respectful. Don't be a dick now. I don't want to have to remove comments of people being rude. Be polite and respectful. Nice. But that's everything we're covering today. Yeah, have we covered everything? I think so. Are we all ready for the news?
I'm looking forward to it.
Already?
I think we're ready already.
I think we should smoke before we go on, right? Let's smoke before we move on.
Smoke. Yeah, let's smoke. Good idea.
Yeah.
And Chad can tell us about his channels and shit. You've been smashing it out there, haven't you, Chad?
Sure, man. Yeah, thank you. The Chad Westport YouTube channel, that is where you find a lot of videos that I do. I'm really into genetics. One of the shows lately people have been enjoying is the Seed Collectors. And this is kind of something that I did a few years ago. But there's a lot of people coming into cannabis. Like Germany, I'm looking at you. I get a lot of German viewers. They're curious about genetics. They're curious about breeders. Because when you start, there's usually only 3 or 4 places you find in the search engine. So this show kind of just exposes people to more breeders that are out there, different varieties. So I've been loving that one, and that's over on the YouTube channel.
Nice, man.
Yeah, the Germans are germinating.
I like that.
There's some British humor there. It's crap, wasn't it?
I think it was half as good as your joke, so at least
only half. I'll give it at least 50% of what some of mine have accomplished. God damn.
You don't exactly set a high bar, really, do you, Mackie? To be honest,
I don't know. The effort goes in. That's got to make some difference.
Yeah, I suppose effort does count.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that's why everyone claps.
Yeah,
I would say that he nailed the intro today. So I mean, we've got to give him that.
Yeah, it was pretty good, right? Decent intro.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I think
good.
so. I think so.
I don't think chat have voted on that yet either. So you
Should
haven't
we
asked them.
put a fucking
Yeah, I
a
think
poll
so.
up?
Are
Go
you
on,
sure?
let's
But
drop a
yeah.
poll in there before we move on, everybody. We've got to do the poll. We'll put it like, how was intro today out of 1 to 10? And then just put 4 options.
All right, I see Filmy Bowls. Filmy Bowls. He says, Chad, how about one of your infamous dad jokes? And this is one that I just used the other day on my wife because my wife, she loves doing yoga, she loves doing meditation, she loves all these kind of things. And so the other day, I looked at her and I said, "So, sweetie, if you teach a wolf how to meditate, does that make him a werewolf?" There you go, dad joke.
Oh my fucking dreadful days. What?
You could almost hear the silence, couldn't you? There. Yeah.
That's so bad, Chad. Isn't a werewolf. Oh my
I
goodness.
love it.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
nice. It's nice. It's so bad. It's nice.
Yeah, beware the
goddamn.
dad joke. Beware the dad joke.
God damn. We're gonna go 9 out of 10 for the last one because it could never be 10 out of 10. Everybody. There we go.
No.
Look, let's see how it goes. We put how was intro today? How's was intro today? God damn. Who hired the guy to do the fucking the poll?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, that's great.
Sack the editor, mate. Sack the editor.
Oh my gosh, terrible. Look, we're getting 50% votes on the 7 out of 10. I like that. Look at this, 3 out of 10, 22%. Jesus. Yeah, 9 out of 10 is pretty high there as well. Thank you, everybody, for your input. We appreciate your input. But is it time to go on to the news now? We'll let them do the poll for a bit, so we get, the more votes that I get in there, the more accurate the answer is. So we'll see in a bit. We're ready for news.
I voted 5.
Nice. So here we are. We'll get on to the controversial one straight away, I think. And I say controversial because it's about politics. Dun, dun, dun. You know how it is with politics. So obviously there's a big election coming up in the United States, if you didn't know, everybody. On November 5th this year, there will be an election. And
Remember.
And both sides are claiming they're going to do something for cannabis reform. Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it because it's politicians. You can't ever believe them until it's actually done. So I want you to take a look at this article which I found here. How do cannabis consumers intend to vote in U.S. presidential election? This is the one I found. A poll conducted earlier this month shows Donald Trump running ahead of Vice President Kamala Harris among frequent cannabis consumers, raising fresh questions about the effectiveness of the Democrats' pro-cannabis campaign messaging ahead of the party's convention this week. The flash poll was conducted from August the 1st to August the 5th, approximately 2.5 weeks after Trump was shot at during a rally in Pennsylvania, and before Harris, who became presumptive Democratic nominee after President Biden dropped out of the race in July 21st. So yeah, it's got to be a little bit skew. The stats are going to be a bit off here, but still, it's interesting to look at. Selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and she selected Governor Tim Walz. So essentially, because that was difficult to read, that sentence was, by the way, because that's a long ass sentence as well. Jesus, use some punctuation sometime. Gosh. But essentially, this was when Biden was still in charge. Well, when Biden was still the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. So, and there was no major talk about cannabis then. But since then, Kamala Harris has taken over as the nominee for the Democratic Party. So she's running for president on their behalf. And she has also mentioned about how what did she say? Can anybody remember what she said? Is she rescheduling or decriminalizing cannabis? What's the do you know, Chad?
I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think she's going to go all the way. She does have a track record with cannabis.
Yeah, a good one or bad one?
So yeah, bad. She was a prosecutor for many years. And she's laughed about putting people, cannabis convicted or felons away. So yeah. But I To be honest, I tuned out this year for the first time since I turned 18 and was able to vote. I tuned out.
Yeah, too much.
Yep.
It is too much, and it's really fucking it's an intense cycle this time around, man. It's been it feels like there's a lot more pressure. I don't know. Big election.
It is, but yeah, I'm glad cannabis is getting talked about, though. I am glad that it is an issue that both sides are talking about, because usually it doesn't come up in something as high profile as a presidential election like it is now. So a conversation's a conversation. So I'm here for it.
Yeah. It's interesting shit for sure. But I can see, I can fully understand why you've just been like, I'm not playing this. I can fully understand it, man. It's crazy shit. But this
problem with
here,
Democrats, the Democrats have the problem they have is that because they're in power at the minute and they're still got quite whatever they say, they could actually change everything they're saying. They like, especially with cannabis right now, to show their meaning well, because they did say something before the previous one. So it's like, well, maybe if they'd done some action now, that would then swing some votes their way. You know what I mean? Rather than say, oh, if you vote for us, we're going to change it. We'll change it now, and then people will vote for you, wouldn't they? And then people go, oh, actually, they're a man of their word, or she's a woman of her word. So
you know what I mean? It's like this time we want payment up front, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, basically,
yeah,
man. Yeah, we ain't give you we had none of that tick this time, motherfucker. You never paid up last time.
Yeah,
and the dealer broke my legs for not paying you, sort of thing. Or shot my dog. Like, it's like, because that's what would have happened, didn't it? Like, how many, 3.5 years later, you ain't paid up? I think the dealer would have shot your dog by now if you haven't paid up. Like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
But in a drug reference manner, that's sort of like what's happening, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you've been not paid up now. I think within that time, and you
and they never pay for anything. Like in that aspect, they'll say all of this shit, and this is why I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know which party's gonna do it, or even if they are. It doesn't matter what they say, unless they actually do it. There's no fucking. Well, it's just a waste of time. They're thinking about they're gonna hold their promises. It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Is that what it is? And this is what politics is. It's like they just lie all the time. Don't expect a different result, everybody.
Yeah, but you can also, and this is one thing that I see frequently too. The politicians can come out and be truthful and say, I want to do this, but they know full well they don't have the support for it. So they could say, we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen safely, because they know that their people really have their back and they're not going to do anything about it. So there is a bit of lip service. But I mean, even if you go back a few years ago, I was saying that, and I hate this pun now, but cannabis legalization will be the trump card for the next election. It's going to be close. If you can grab 3% of the voting population, that's probably going to be enough to skew it your way. So I'm not surprised to see it.
Because I know that there's so much division. It's like you're voting for one or the other at this point. Is there anybody in the middle who's going to be swayed by something like cannabis as being a policy? Because it's so divisive now. It's not like an ordinary election.
That someone in the middle sort of decided where he's going the other day, didn't he? RFK was the middle.
Yeah.
And the undecided are usually not the people you hear from, because they don't have a stance to lobby on. So, a lot of them are in the background. I do think it will sway some people, but I think more negatively than positively, because it's an older generation that tends to vote in higher numbers than people 30 and under. So we'll see how it works.
Even there's going to be some old conservative Christian ladies being like, I ain't voting for Trump now. She's legal. Now he's legalized devil's lettuce. You think so? I don't know. It's a possibility, right?
Yeah,
there's bound to be some, isn't it? Because it's a huge population of 360 million people. And there's going to be a few.
There's a lot of. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's hard not seeing people's faces. I'm used to taking the visual cues, but there are a lot of single topic voters in this country, regardless of whatever it is, and that may just be the one topic that somebody actually cares about, or they're indifferent except for that. So who knows?
What's your thoughts, Billy?
I'm unsure really, to be honest, because it's a bit up in the air. So because it's as they are, we can't take people for their word anymore, to be honest. So it's a case of, like you say, this wait and see. Really, to be honest.
There was they took this poll. They did this poll, and the question on the poll was, Kamala Harris is now the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee after Joe Biden dropped out. How has this impacted your views on November's election? And there was only 460 people who took part in this, I think.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, I'd like to see more. But it's at least it's not 50. But we have the sorry, you're saying something there, Chad?
No, I apologize. I just connected that the poll was actually taken from the article and not the website. So on a large basis, yeah, that's a low number for an institution.
And the answer is given here. We have I like Harris as the candidate over Biden. So this is after. I'll read the question. The question again is Kamala Harris is now the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee after Joe Biden dropped out. How has this impacted your views on November's election? There's 5 answers. There's I like Harris as the candidate over Biden. There's I liked Biden as the candidate over the Democratic alternatives. Then we have I intend to vote for the Republican candidate. Then I intend to vote for a third party. And the last one was I don't have an opinion on the election yet. So there's 5 different answers that they were given. Sorry, Billy, was you saying something there?
No, mate, that must have been you tripping.
Oh, right.
Not me saying nothing.
There's them head voices again. So the top one, I like Harris as the candidate over Biden. 182 people voted for that, with 40% of the votes collectively. So that's pretty substantial. So they liked Harris over Biden anyway. The next one, I liked Biden as the candidate over other Democratic alternatives. Only 3%. That's crazy. I intend to vote for the Republican candidate. That's 48%, and that's the biggest answer to the question. It's 48% of people intend to vote the Republican candidate, even though it's asking specifically how it's going to change their views in the election, but not regarding to cannabis.
And that's within that 3% margin that I was just mentioning too. It's going to be very close.
Yeah, and then I intend to vote for a third party was 4%, and that third party was RFK at that point. And we all know what he's done. He's suspended his campaign and endorsed Donald Trump in the swing states, essentially. So that 4%, I mean, maybe 3% of that 4% will go to Trump. I mean, not all of it. They're not all just going to follow him and be like, oh, yeah, let's drop the vote for Trump now. So I don't think all of them will do. We'll see what happens. And then I don't have an opinion on the election yet. It's just 6%. So it seems as if, even if the Democrats are going to offer the legalization of cannabis federally in the USA, I don't think that is going to be enough of a card to win it. It's not going to, like you said there, Chad, how it's going to be
not going to swing a
single issue. Yeah, maybe it will. Yeah, but it's going to swing some, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. And, this poll's going to be shit as well. They're all shit. 460 people. Need to see more people, really. But I don't know. This,
I don't...
Sorry, Chad.
I don't know how well the polling goes with the elections over there. I imagine you have it. I imagine the news reports it, up to election day and on election day. But the polling in this last election was incredibly flawed and very wrong, is what I mean by flawed.
Yeah.
It didn't project what it did. So it's interesting to see now how things, again, are polling. There has been a shift in the polls in the last few weeks. There usually is a bounce whenever either party has its convention, but it's seeming like more of a race now. But again, it's just going to be so damn close. It's scary.
Yeah, it is for sure. Interesting, man. It's been the toughest election I've watched, because I enjoy the whole politics thing, and I enjoy watching the American politics because I'm a sadist. But
Well,
But, you
it's
know,
just it's a fun process, you know. It's something people should be aware of and how they work. They should be interested. So
yeah.
I applaud you.
We'll just carry on with this article a little bit here to explain this shit a little bit more. We have the new poll follows NUG-MD's benchmark election poll of cannabis consumers conducted in late March. The poll showed President Biden, then the presumptive Democratic nominee, having more support than Trump among the cannabis demographic of a share of 43%, 36%. In the benchmark poll, 16% of respondents expressed support for a different candidate. Those voters seem to be coalescing around Trump as the election draws closer. Going back to the 2016 election, Trump has shown to have unique durability as a politician. That's the understatement. And this poll is no exception. We plan to run election polls several more times before election day to explore the nation's 35 million frequent cannabis consumers intended to vote, says Andrew Graham, head of communications. About polling, NUG-MD conducts cannabis consumer polls using first-party data, including a sample of more than 1 million people who use cannabis in state legal markets. So if you're asking people in legal markets, it's not going to care so much for them, you know, because it's legal for them. You know, it's federally legal is an issue, but that it's even more of an issue for people who are like fully illegal. You know what I mean? You should definitely be asking those guys. Roughly half of the sample reports using cannabis mostly or excessively for medical reasons, while the remainder reports some meaningful degree of recreational use. Bear in mind that there is no single source of truth for what constitutes medical versus recreational use beyond the self-selection of the consumer. Yeah, so you can go to the website and see more if you wanted to. You can go mmjdaily.com. You'll find it over there. And there is more information, but yeah, I think that's about enough, really. It's just interesting to see if cannabis is going to be, you know, how far is it going to swing that vote, man? I think both parts, because Trump said he's going to say something soon, and they have made up their decision. I don't know what Kamala's stance is on cannabis right now, whether they're going to legalize it, and again, even if they say they're going to do it, I don't believe them. Lying fuckers.
Right, and they're in my mind, their version of legalization looks much different than what we have as consumers. It's probably going to be pretty clinical, pretty corporate. So it will be something entirely different than we're envisioning and hoping for, even if it does get legalized. Number one thing, though, is if it gets federally legalized, people won't go to jail. And thank you.
And banking can be fixed.
Yeah,
It's
that's
issue,
stupid.
man.
States have fixed it. We have credit unions, so within a state, you can pay exorbitant fees to the credit union, but they'll bank for you.
Yeah, interesting. So if you out there in the chat or anybody listening to this after it's been recorded, you know, let us know what you think, man. You don't necessarily need to tell us who you're going to vote for, but tell us if cannabis is going to be a deciding factor for you. Is that going to tilt you over the edge of whether you're going to vote for one party or the other? If one just came out and blatantly said, we're just going to legalize cannabis federally, would you vote for that? Is that a deal breaker for you? Let us know.
Talking of voting in polls as well, you should plug your one. So how many people have stroked your poll in chat?
Yeah. How was the intro today? Let's quickly get that done. It's
30 people have stroked
7
your
out of
poll
10.
today.
Yeah, could have been better. Yeah. That seems to be 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So together, that's 16 out of 10. That's a good fucking score. 60% of people reckon it was 16 out of 10. So
yeah,
I am happy with that.
Thank you. Political adding up there. I like that one.
Fuzzy math, as George W. Bush would say. Fuzzy math.
Nice.
Fuzzy math.
Well, yes, interesting article and an interesting topic. And as they say, there's going to be more polls as the election gets closer as well. So when we see more polls like this, we'll drop it in and make sure that we're keeping that reported to see. But we can't believe these polls either, everybody. Remember, it doesn't even matter what these polls say, because I remember back when Clinton was running against Trump, and it was 85% Clinton, 15% Trump. And we all know what happened there. Don't trust the polls, you know. It might give you some kind of idea, but they're not real. they're not real.
That's it.
Yeah.
The only polls you trust is the one you get every morning.
Yeah, right.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because again, well, can I ask a question?
Of course. What the fuck? Yeah, of course.
Thank you, thank you. Because again, I'm in the United States, and while I do read outsized sources of news, the media here is, U.S. based. Media sometimes has been known to push opinions or agendas. That's how polls can be so
Really?
wrong sometimes. Yeah, right.
Never noticed that one.
What I've seen, so and I want to see if this resonates or if this is being portrayed in the same way in the UK media. So before the assassination attempt, and particularly right after, it was almost foregone conclusion that Trump was going to become president again. And then now that Kamala Harris has entered the race and it's not Biden, well, the narrative and the media has totally shifted from Trump being a darling to now he can't, he keeps getting flustered because Kamala Harris is somebody different. And now she's the sweetheart. Now, I don't know if that's media maybe biasing us or just trying to keep us divided and entertained. What does the situation in your news look like? Is there a front runner that the news is like, yes, they're going great, or no, they're effing up?
But our media, though our media is less biased than we see from the USA, it's still slightly left-leaning and supportive of the Democratic nominee, because they're all owned by the same people. Though you're over in the USA, the media companies in both countries are owned by the same people, and then as well as people that are owned by the same companies. These BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, all of these companies just own the same. So it doesn't matter what country we're in. They're spinning a narrative, and the narrative has changed. You can go back just 6 weeks ago where you can see polls of Kamala Harris at 28% approvability as VP. 28%. Why has there been such a difference now that Joe Biden stepped aside, quote unquote, stepped aside? Now he's stepped aside, which he wasn't. He was forced out by the Democratic establishment because he wanted to run. You can go back again and see tweets where he says, "I am staying in the race."
Yeah,
we knew that wasn't going to happen. They just feed a narrative to us, man, and they feed both narratives to us on either side, so we can fight constantly against each other about minor things instead of looking up and being like, "Hold on, it's them motherfuckers." That's who we need to be against, not each other.
All right.
But anyway, yeah. Anyway,
excellent.
Shit.
Excellent thought. Yes, you did, and you made a very great point based on logic. And who needs logic when we're talking politics? So carry on.
Exactly. But I love talking politics, man. Anytime you want to talk politics, Chad, come and see me. I love it.
I do too.
The thing with politics is like you have to leave logic at the door. Like with some, it's like no, sorry.
Just go against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that saying? If voting did anything, they wouldn't let us do it, which is kind of right, but you still got to go out and vote. In my opinion, especially now. Gosh.
Yeah, it's because they know not enough people would do it as well. It will make a difference if everyone did, but because not everyone's going to, then they know for that reason it still swings in their way, no matter what. Everyone's going to vote red or blue. So they know red or blue's going to get it either way.
Yes. Mal's Chronic in the chat said there, destabilization by design. Exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, I minimized the screen accidentally. Yeah. Anyway. Let's go on to the next article. What do we have next? Because that was a long one. We spent a long time on that article, but it was a good discussion, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. We don't mean to offend anybody, of course. We are just discussing politics to the best of our knowledge, which isn't very much. So take everything with a pinch of salt, okay? Do you want to take one away there, Billy? You want to do one of yours?
Yeah, I think I'll do the CBD one, just because it's quite interesting.
Okay.
So they're trying to tighten up the cannabis laws, basically. So they're all different, the product laws. So they're having a problem with the CBD stuff because I think it's basically classed as a food product, pretty much still, if you know what I mean. So they haven't. So it's hard to regulate sell to children, which is what they're saying they need to sort of have an issue with, because obviously you can overload on fucking like CBD jellies and all that and shit like that. So there've been calls for the laws on the selling of cannabidiol CBD products in the tighten up in the Guernsey area. So currently the age gap in the law, which allows CBD products to be sold to under 18s in both Guernsey and Jersey areas. So both stores have in-house policies. So the age restrictions, which have prevented young people from buying them because of obviously in-house rules.
Right.
So, but Rebecca.
So in-house rules, but not laws. Yeah.
Yeah, but not laws. That's what they're saying. They say they're under pressure from like the kids. No, but what you're doing, like it's not law. But they're just saying no.
And when it says they're selling it to under 18s, how far under 18 do they go?
Well,
He's like anybody can buy it. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah. Technically,
Wow.
yeah. Like a 6-year-old come up with, I want some gummies, please, Gov. Like, and you have to sell them to them. So it's like, that's why I think they're thinking, hold on a bit. Like, even 12 or 15-year-olds, you don't really be said. They could come in and buy 50 packs of them, couldn't they? Really? So that's what I'm saying. They've got a problem with under 18s trying to buy products in a shop, and basically, yeah, the health and social care they've had complaints. Like I'm saying, they're complaining to all these people and the governing bodies and stuff. So she's added that it's very concerning. It's scary because they don't always think about the safety measures when using these types of products in moderation, responsibility. Because if you're thinking like, oh, I'm not getting high on these, I'll eat the whole packet and all that
fucking
sort of
hell,
shit.
yeah.
And it's like you're just gonna, if CBD can have some issues with some medications, and so that's where the issue lies: is kids being stupid in that manner. So it's not going to cause them any actual harm, but it's a drug misuse of drugs again, isn't it? It's like the advisory group is saying that like they need to sort out these sort of laws to draw a line. So no, everyone knows where they stand under it, especially shops, because she's obviously feels being pressured by a lot of kids that are always probably coming. Probably a lot of 16-year-olds who just left school and all that shit.
Roadmen.
Yeah.
You know
basically coming in.
What is hey fam? Pass up that bag of weed, fam.
Yeah.
You gotta get wet, what? You gotta get wet, fam.
There you go. So it's like just to cut all that wank out, then it's basically yeah. They want tying up the regulations, like have some sort of regulation more on it, sort of thing. So people understand where it is, because it's really is, the CBD is really sold more as a medical product, if you ever say it, which is what they are. They're more of a medical dispensary type place. They're not like a kid's sweet shop, which is what she's sort of trying to point out more, if you know what I mean. That sort of type of thing. So yeah, that's about that. That's the news story in a nutshell, really. There, fam.
Yeah, just thanks, Gilbert, for pointing that out there. There's some comments in the chat there. We don't want to go into that kind of thing. Everybody, calm down. It's just a nice, polite conversation. Yeah,
I'll get a dad joke out again if I need to, guys. Just
quick,
watch out.
Dad joke alert.
Yes,
calm down.
But interesting. So, what they're gonna do here then, Billy? They're gonna pass this law. What's the idea?
Well, basically nothing. Yes, I'm saying she's just saying, highlighting the issue. You need to do something and do it quick. Like we're having, and because it's such a small island, it wouldn't take long for every youth in the island to turn up at a shop. You know what I mean? So it's like they'll probably do it quick because it's a smaller island where it's affecting. They are quite quick on this shit normally there. And they can do their own laws in these islands as well, which is obviously why they have the cannabis separation laws so you could be done in a couple of months, really. They could change and regulate it all properly. But again, that could then affect law in the UK, so they have to go through their lawyers again. So again, they could just make it really easy if the actual government made a proper policies in this country to deal with all of it, rather than leave it to shopkeepers to try and deal with and then petition again. Then become their own lobbyists. It's like, fuck's sake. It's like, that's how stupid things have got, where the shop owners are almost lobbying for regulation of their own goods because they know what's sensible and what's not. So, but the government don't want to listen again. That's why boils down to this story. It's just, again, the government's not fucking listening.
Yep. Yet again, the government fails us.
Surprise, surprise.
Chilbert says as well, what's the rule with politics in the chat? And it's just like anything. I like to keep everybody allowed. So they like just be polite and respectful, and don't no ad hominem attacks is massively important. You know, don't be attacking the person, but yeah, just keep it polite and respectful. That's all. But I think everybody should be allowed to share their opinion, but just be polite and respectful about it. Don't be a dick. You know, if you ever see anything that you disagree with, Chilbert, then feel free to use your spanner, mate. That's where you have it, bro. So I wouldn't question you. You do what you think is good. That's where you have it. So what we got next? We got another one? Who's going? Chad, let's do your one, man.
Chad, I think Chad should have a go, man.
Yeah,
Let
let's
the
go.
Let the guest in the door.
All right, let's do it. But
You
on-
nervous
on
now,
that
bro?
topic,
Nervous?
no. I was just gonna say, you know, kind of on that topic, I just wanted to say, where do bad rainbows go?
Oh, look,
To
give me a minute.
Prism.
Oh, you didn't give me time. I would have figured it out. Give me another one which we can figure out.
It's a light sentence though, and it gives them time to reflect.
Jesus.
Oh,
Gives them time to
God.
refract. You know?
Yes.
Didn't even get the science
Okay.
right. You know?
Dang.
Very
Okay,
nice.
no more
Very
dad
nice.
jokes for you right now. I'm
Yeah.
doing my news article.
Yeah, sounds
So,
like that.
yeah, as we were talking about, you know, media earlier, and you know, bias, you need to take in opinions from all kinds of places. This article comes from The Hill. It's an opinion piece, and it's written by Paul Armentano, who is actually founder for Normal, or what does he do for Normal? He's the deputy director for Normal, which is the national organization for the reform of marijuana laws. So just given his position, you could kind of presume what his opinion may be, what his bias may be. The title of the article says, "A decade into states legalizing marijuana, underage use has plummeted." So one reason why I also chose this article, and why I also kind of pointed out that, you know, again, consider the source, there may be bias. But he hits you with the facts. And the reason why I really enjoyed this article is because he's using data that's compiled by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Youth Behavioral Risk Surveys, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, all organizations that oppose cannabis and promote things like, we've got to do it for the kids because there could be, you know, it could get into their hands. But the data that he provided here is pretty good. And I'll just go into a little bit of it real quickly. But according to data provided by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the latest national survey on drug use and health, the percentage of those ages 12 to 17 who reported having ever tried marijuana fell 18% from 2014, which is when Washington and Colorado first had recreational sales. So it fell 18% from 2014 to 2023, which is last year. So that gets a pretty good picture, and a recent picture as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those reported having consumed cannabis during the last year fell by 15%, and the number of teens reporting current marijuana use fell by 19%. So to add to that, you know, it's similarly data provided by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, their youth risk behavioral survey finds that the percentage of high schoolers nationally who identify as current consumers of cannabis fell by 26%, again, from 2013 this time up to 2023. So, and there's more, you know, I could keep reading some awesome numbers, but I think people are kind of getting the picture that the people who promote we can't legalize it because it will get into the hands of the kids are actually publishing data that's saying, like, there's been a pretty big drop off in this. So where does that leave us?
Yeah, and this kind of thing has been monitored for a while, because they said it happened in the Netherlands as well. When the Netherlands legalized, there was a huge drop in teen use, and this so this kind of argument has been around for a long time. And it's like, why doesn't it get used more often? Why, when they're having these discussions about should we legalize cannabis, and it's like, well, you're trying to keep the kids safe, and here is a huge piece of evidence that says legalizing will keep a whole fifth of the kids safe. Now, 1 in 5 kids will not use cannabis because we've legalized it. You know, that's a shitload of fucking people.
That's
It is.
millions
It
in
is.
USA, really, isn't
Mhm.
it? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
millions.
and you know there is kind of the thing to do it because it is taboo. You know, in the old days we used to say it tastes better. Why? Because crime.
Yeah. It's got
But
crime
kids
in
also
it.
don't. Yeah, it tastes better. But you know, kids also don't want to do what their parents are doing. You know,
Mhm.
if you know their parents are sitting on the back porch, you know, on a Sunday or a Saturday night, smoking a joint, playing like this weird old hippie music, and kids are gonna think they're so dumb.
Mhm.
You try
So
to say
you know
we're
that
all
kind of
old
turns them off too.
farts. That's what you're saying there. That's what I'm getting there from that
Yeah, I got
take.
that vibe as well.
Yeah, I got that. All you old farts
I'm
smoking.
just,
Like,
I'm projecting you guys. I'm projecting
okay.
myself onto
Yeah,
everybody else
exactly.
here.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Ah,
Yeah.
Following
Okay.
the same
So
thing. Yeah.
you whippersnappers out there, I honestly think that more kids are going to the vape pens though, and the
Ah,
concentrates,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
disturbs
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
But I see that, and it's easier access. And you know, vape pens you can't smell. I've even seen a
Mm.
hoodie where the drawstrings are the vape part.
Wow.
So you can sit in class and wherever. Yeah, kids are freaking clever.
Fuck,
I'd
you know
say
what I mean?
I'd
God
say
damn.
a good portion of new users wouldn't be able to roll a joint or a blunt as well
Mm-hmm.
because they vape
Mhm.
only and
Yeah.
edibles
It does
only.
seem as if people prefer that kind of consumption nowadays by vaping. You get these THC vapes, even here in the UK. You can buy them online and things like that, and we'll move that onto the next article with that one. But you know, buying things online and shit, you can get whatever you want in the UK here, and THC vapes are quite popular. My missus got one, and it's like it's not like she needed one. You know, she just had the opportunity to buy one, try it out, and she said it was fine. It got her good and high. Not as much as you have
Yeah.
with you know, like smoking a joint, but still, it's no. When you're walking down the street and you smoke that, nobody's like, "Oh, who's smoking weed?" You know what I mean? When
Yep.
you're in your bedroom because you live with your parents,
Yep.
the THC vape isn't gonna have any fucking scent. You're not gonna stink out your whole house with a joint. Yeah, so,
Yeah. Oh, I've seen the neighbor kids huddled on the side of the fence, like hitting a vape as I walk by. I'm like, the fuck? And the parents like on the other side of the fence cleaning the car. I'm like, I should rat, but I won't.
I wonder what percent then does they say cannabis use amongst teens is down, but they mean smoking it? And if so, like how much of that 1/5, the 20%, how much of that 20% still use cannabis, but they don't smoke it, they hit vape instead? I wonder if that's been taken into consideration.
I didn't see any clarification in the article, a delineation between the type of consumption,
Mm.
but that is one way an article can be, or numbers can be skewed is, you know, have you smoked a joint or have you smoked a bong or have you smoked a flower? That could skew it. But I would hope that they're educated enough to at least be inclusive because, I mean, the health institutes, they're aware of vaping and they
Mm.
have been for a while. So I would assume, but I have no conclusive evidence that that number was, you know, specifically just flower or if it encompassed everything.
Yeah, interesting, man, interesting. But it's good to see teen use dropping, in my opinion. You know, you don't want youngsters
Yeah.
using cannabis because it's ours. Leave it alone. Belongs to us. Little shits.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
it's nice
can't let them know
article. Thanks, Shay.
regulation works, so can't
Mm.
let them know that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there was an additional little piece just to add a little bit more. JAMA, the Journal of American Medicine Association, I look to them for a lot of studies actually, but the JAMA, the pediatrics, kind of like we're saying, concluded that marijuana use among youth may actually decline after legalization for recreational purposes, since it is more difficult for teenagers to obtain marijuana from drug dealers because they're getting replaced by licensed dispensaries which
Mm.
require proof of age. And there is some truth to that. Like I mean, I'm in a legal place where I can grow. I have a license to do so, so I do it. But if I had to call somebody for a bag, I wouldn't even know who to call anymore.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, there's a
No.
dispensary down the road.
That's one of the problems for home growing and you're in a legal place because it's happened to me. It's like you have weed for so long, but sometimes you run out before harvest, and you need to find weed, and you're like,
Mhm.
no, I ain't called any of these guys for a year. You know, most of the phone numbers don't work. The rest of them are gonna think, what the fuck, this guy phoning me for? What the fuck?
That was like 4 phones ago.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Well, anyway, good article.
So yeah,
Nice one,
that's
Chad. But this kind of leads
thank-
into one of the articles which I was bringing here because we spoke about, you know, ordering shit online. And I mean, we make jokes about how bad London is and shit. But, this is crazy. This Londoners warned against scanning QR codes advertising cannabis website. So there's just QR codes just in London where you can scan and you'll be put through to somebody who can sell you some cannabis. It's like, at this stage, is the war on drugs like not over? When do you resign? When do they wave the red flag at this point? Can you not see you're doing nothing but harm at this point?
Yeah,
You know
it's
what
a
I
little
mean?
bit lost, that one, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
sticking like QR codes up like as advertising. Is that advertising hoarding at a bus stop as well? Probably that's probably how far they've gone.
But
Isn't it?
and you know, the thing is, the police can fucking scan it and catch whoever's selling it, so they don't even care about that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the mad part, isn't it? Yeah.
And I'm wondering if the QR code that they left on the screen as a picture, I wonder if that's scannable. You know, if this is just one big advertisement for an illegal cannabis company. But anyway, I'll carry on here. Londoners have been told to not scan QR codes on the growing number of stickers advertising illicit cannabis website. You must only buy from the government-sponsored companies. Obviously, it doesn't say that. That's just me being a fool. But, police are wary of the growing number of ads springing up on lampposts, bus stops, and in toilets around the capital, which advertise the drug and its delivery. Inspector Kerry Goodwin of City of London Police said that the ads have been found in Soho and around the Leicester Square area. So if you would like to find one, it's best to head there. She obviously
I
didn't
love
say
that.
that, but it's like, why are they giving out the information? We recommend you don't go to these locations to scan the. It's like, don't look down. You're gonna look down.
There's a tourist. There's applying for the tourists, obviously. Like tourists
Jesus.
alive to Soho and Leicester Square. Oh, what's this? Oh, I can get some weed. Sweet.
You know
It's
what I
keeping
mean?
the tourists happy. What's wrong with that?
You know, I've been to London many times. I'm not from London. You might be able to tell that by the accent. But when I've gone down London, in the post boxes, you know those famous London red post boxes? Phone booths, phone boxes, we call them. You know, the red phone box. You step inside one of those, and there's just like loads of cards for, let's say, ladies of the night.
Roxanne. They're all called Roxanne. Like,
Yeah, they probably don't call them that nowadays. You know, that's just the 1940s in me coming out. That is fucking hell.
Roxanne in a red dress, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
was
it's
gonna
like,
say, you guys still have phone booths?
no, if you went down there now, they're just there for show for tourists nowadays.
yeah, they turned
Yeah,
into public
okay.
toilets for a while, so we got rid of them.
Hmm.
Common.
So anyway, as we were saying, investigations are ongoing, and we're working with the City of London Corporation to get the stickers removed as soon as we become aware of them. He said, "You know, they're really busy right now. They're hunting people on Facebook to lock up." But let's not get into that. Jesus. We urge members of the public to alert police if they see any of these stickers and to not scan the QR code. How do you know it's the one then? You can scan it first and test it, and it makes you wonder as well. Like, are they able to hack like this? If it was a dodgy QR code, I don't scan QR codes very much. You know, but do you guys scan QR codes?
No, never
No.
have. Like, don't see the point. Like, but some people just do have. They're just like,
Yeah, because
addicted
the
to
younger
that
guys
shit.
might do it. It might be useful to them. But how easy is it to just like stick another QR code over a QR code on a flyer, for
Funny.
example, and it could be send you to a fucking hack website or something like that. You know?
Funny you say that, because that does happen. But even funnier to me, at least, not to everybody. But you can't order from a restaurant in like Seattle anymore without doing the QR code. There are no more menus. You
Right.
place it online. Like it's nuts. So one of the things that people were doing was they were going around and placing their own QR codes over the menu QR code. So when you scan it, you wind up with some Roxanne's.
Yeah. Check
And
out
that's
my
hilarious.
OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Can
And
I
it's
get
so
a
easy. I
high?
mean,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Gosh, how inappropriate. Funny.
Get picture of transvestite Tom in a dress. Like, yeah, that's gonna put you off your dinner, isn't it? Hey?
Oh, you can't say that, Billy. Gosh, flags, bro, flags. Can you? I don't think you can say that anymore.
You're not
That
allowed
is
to
what
say
you
that
would
anymore.
find in London phone boxes for sure.
You want transvestite Tom?
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen his card. Yeah. And you have.
So
You're from there,
QR
Billy. So.
codes.
Yeah, so QR codes.
I
Back
don't-
onto the QR codes.
I don't scan them myself. Yeah, I don't scan them
Mm,
myself.
Let us know in the chat.
I
Do
have
you
my
guys
wife order.
scan QR codes out there? Is it something you guys do? It might be for the younger generation because they are quite easy
Yeah.
to do. But damn.
Yeah, younger generation. I don't do it. I actually had to do one for a vendor the other day, and I had to get
Boo.
a QR code reader off of the like Google Play Store, and it still didn't work. So yeah, if we are in Seattle and we go to dinner, my wife does it on her phone.
Damn.
She'll get the menu pulled up for me.
All right, so
I'm not
let's
tech
wrap up
savvy
this
like that.
this article here and stop giving people ideas for scams. Let's go. Scanning the codes is said to send the user onto a website where it appears that cannabis can be bought and delivered. The sites are also said to advertise CBD and other associated products such as oils and edibles with a number of made-up reviews attached to give the essence of authenticity. A spokesperson for the Met said, "We do not believe cannabis in any form is benign." Random. Cannabis is a Class B drug, but there has been discussions around upgrading it to a Class A despite high-profile cases where it has been given medical exemption. Excuse me, I'm just fucking gonna lose my fucking mind here. Just back up to Class A. Are these people on crack? Which is a Class A? You know, it's what the actual fuck, man. Yeah, God.
They're all just
God.
cunts, aren't they? I think they
Sorry.
must be all like you
Ah.
say. They're all on cocaine while they write this, probably as well. If you know what I
It's
mean.
just, I thought we were heading in the right direction. And you
Wankers.
read something like this by a spokesperson for the Met. It's like, oh my God, surely this person don't know what they're talking about. It kind of, oh my God. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway,
When you
This-
use benign, you're a fancy person and you don't get to participate in our conversation.
yeah, using fancy words like that. How dare you? You know? And yeah, so they discussion about upgrading it to a Class A despite high profile cases, blah blah blah. You read that bit. People found in possession of cannabis can face up to 5 years in prison and an unlimited fine, or both. While people who supply and produce cannabis can face up to 14 years in prison
Oh,
and unlimited fine, or both.
oh.
Bruh,
Yeah, it's still draconian here, man.
let's
Don't-
just take a breath
Don't
for a
post your
second.
shit on Facebook.
Fucking
when you-
sitting relaxing says, where's that? Bro, that's in the UK. That's Airstrip 1 right here, motherfuckers. That's what we get. But you can possess it legally if you pay the correct person the correct fee. And then the government will allow you access to cannabis. But you have to get it from their friends. Can't make it yourself. No.
It's a
Pay up,
damn plant,
motherfucker.
people. Come on.
Mm-mm. That's it, man. Living in the Stone Age over here. It's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, if you're in London, everybody be careful because you know there's dodgy QR codes out there. And I will say again, I said it in the intro, but you know, they just don't get your phone out in London unless you really have to. From what I've seen on the internet, which is probably just excessive, but still, I would be concerned. You know,
Yeah.
there's they've got these electric bikes. You seen these electric bike, Chad? You might have seen them.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like
all over
push
the place.
bikes, but they're electric and they go stupid speeds now. And there's just guys with like balaclavas on, just riding around London, just snatching people's phone off them on their bikes, and then they just zoom off at fucking 40 mile an hour. It's crazy.
Seen that.
Be careful out there, everybody.
Yeah.
Be careful out there. So what's next? Let's have some news from Morocco then, Billy. Is that the last one? I think that is the last one, isn't it?
Well, it is from me, so here we go.
Yeah.
Some good news here. So Morocco's king pardons more than 4,800 cannabis farmers, and it is actually the farmers. So like people who would have fields of it and shit. So Morocco's King Mohammed VI has pardoned more than 4,800 farmers accused of illegally growing cannabis. The Justice of Ministry said on Monday. So the monarch has kindly granted a pardon to exactly 4,831 people convicted and prosecuted or wanted cases in a link of cultivation of cannabis. So the amount was it was a national holiday on Tuesday, so the announcement was made the head on the Monday just before the national holiday. So I assume it's like a king's holiday, and he's done like a national pardoning.
Oh, cool.
And that's quite nice. So Morocco is the world leading cannabis producer, according to the United Nations as well. It adopted a new law in 2021 on the production and medical use of the drug, authorizing its cultivation.
You see, and you mentioned that as well. You know, when cannabis is legal worldwide and we can go back to getting Moroccan again. You know what I'm saying? Get some Moroccan hash.
Yeah.
Imagine the business that can be provided to Morocco.
That's what I'm saying. We can, but it's still illegal. A lot of the stuff comes through France and stuff still.
Yeah, but you know, when we get like legalization worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide. Yeah,
if
when
ever
it becomes,
that happens.
that'd be great for like all the farmers. So the farmers can sell directly. If you know what I mean. I know what you mean. Just like with a little app, you can get some farmer like up in the Rift Mountains, give me some buy my shit here, come on holiday and stay at my hut for a week and learn my shit like on it, and they could earn a lot of money doing that. A lot of people would be well interested in that sort of shit. So basically, that's what's he's pardoned everyone. The announcement was made on the just before the national holiday. So what it is, they're trying to set a target to fight illegal trafficking. The country is seeking to position itself on the global market for illegal cannabis, which has been grown in the Rift region for centuries. Obviously, so obviously they've seen the light. Obviously, saying actually basically get used to their history and sell their history, which is where the money is.
There where it says it provides a living for between 800,000 and 120,000
I was just going to say that it's like mad, isn't it? It provides, like you're saying, that's like 100, and that's in the legal market. So now they're stepping forward to the legal, and he's pardoning everyone. That just means like that's going to double or probably triple now in the world. Man. So that's what they're going to do. The pardon aims to now allow these involved to integrate into the new strategy or their outlook of the country, I suppose, of Morocco itself. So it's part of a special agency, the ANRAC structure of legal cultivation and the export of medical cannabis to pharmaceutical and industrial purposes. So they always have issued the agency has already issued more than 200 permits. So that's what that proceeds as well, sort of so that's all of export as well.
That's fucking cool, man.
International export that's for as well, which is like wow. So it's like, and they've let now 4,800 people out who can all get involved in the program. So that's looking, if that's 200 people currently have it, that's now 5,000 people are going to have. That's expanded their market exponentially, isn't it? It's like, so the future's looking Moroccan hashishi.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is obviously a great bonus. So it's looking like their king's actually being a king and looked at his people and seen what they needed and done it for king and country. Like, it's not very often you see a king do that nowadays, is it?
Maybe, but you know, he'll benefit from this too, won't
he? Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's for king and country. That's what that really means, isn't it? It's the more the country benefits, the more he then benefits being its king.
Yeah,
that's what it's.
It's a
ultimately
good move.
was
It's definitely
about.
a step in the right direction, man. And it
And it
just
certainly is.
it makes you
Yeah, like
open
you
your eyes a
say.
bit to the like how much opportunity could be brought to the country of Morocco if it was legalized properly. It would be like coffee in Brazil. You know, a load of coffee is grown in Brazil. A load of cannabis would be grown in Morocco. You know what I mean?
Well, 4,800 farmers isn't a small amount, is it? It's like if
Mm-hmm.
that's 5,000 acres of there at least of hash. You're talking now just being produced at least minimum. They all got an acre each,
Mm-hmm.
which they're obviously not because they're gonna have a bit more than that, more like a hectare each. So that's a big pile of Moroccan hash coming to us next year.
What do you
So
think, Chad?
like,
Like, when it becomes legal in places like Morocco, where they can grow a shitload of high quality cannabis outdoors and have it imported into the USA, would you like? Do you think that the growing business in the USA would die down because the demand would be lower because you can get it from Morocco?
Um, no, because I think we have a particular taste. And one thing
Mm,
about Northern California, particularly the Emerald Triangle, which people around the world are aware of, it's famous for its terroir, like just
mm-mm,
what comes
mm-mm.
out of there. And the second you said Morocco legalizing and export, my brain instantly went to how can I get some of this great Moroccan hash for
Yep.
myself here. And I went to an ESCO, or not an ESCO, UNGAS, I think, with NATO, the treaty that basically violates international shipment of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to bypass that or get around that. I know they've been talking about doing away with that for years. I know Paraguay and other countries, Canada, have import export, but that's usually between medicinal. It's not like real recreational markets. But when it comes to hash, I mean, we grew up hearing about Moroccan hash, like terroir. Again, it goes back to that terroir. So I think there would be a tremendous market for Moroccan hash here, but I don't think the flower is going to be something that the consumers here would want. So yeah, I'm all in favor for it. Again, the second you said that, I'm like, dude, how could this like actually happen? Because I would
Mm-mm.
love. That's why we go to the Netherlands. We don't have
Yeah.
hash like you guys have over there. So
Yeah,
that'd be
that's a shame.
interesting to see.
Nah, some
yeah,
Yeah.
good
that's what
Moroccan
it's
hash,
the
bro.
it
Mm-mm-mm.
it's the ANRAC, so which is the structure, the legal cultivation and export of cannabis for medical, pharmaceutical, and industrial purposes. So that's Morocco's own agency, basically,
Right.
which is set
Yeah.
up with obviously like the UN and shit as well, so it can be legally exported everywhere, which is like amazing. Like you say, like the market has then just opened up for or like America and also other product with Australia as well. They have medical programs out there. As
Mm-hmm.
Germany obviously just opened their doors and market to it. So it's quite a
Yeah,
lot
man.
of Moroccan hash connoisseurs would be like, yeah.
So some
That'd be
good news
interesting
to
to
end it on
no, just
then.
to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, just to say, that'd be interesting to see if the companies here in the UK and like the medical suppliers are allowed to pick it up as then because they don't sell obviously hash in the UK isn't available. So I wonder if then it would then technically become of then that'd be interesting to see if it creeps into the market there,
Mm.
Moroccan hashish into the UK medical market.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell,
I
that would
mean,
be interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
the branding's already done. It's a name, and
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
excited if somebody says I've got Moroccan hash. I'll be like, really?
Yeah,
So yeah,
you're rubbing your thighs straight away, ain't you? That's the half the reason I'm going. Like, I'm going to Amsterdam next month. I'm like, I'm just gonna be looking at all. I'm just looking at all the hash they got on the menus. So like, fuck
yeah,
the flour. Like it's like maybe I'll probably buy some haze while I'm at the lemon haze, super silver haze. I'll probably buy while you're there some amnesia because obviously it's
yep.
just cheap and
We
grown
go for
everywhere. Buy everything. Yeah,
hazes, amnesia.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
the
And then
hash
just
and the white widow.
yeah, basically, yeah. So it's all about the hash menus. And now Moroccan
That's
hash could be on the UK menu. That'd be interesting.
that's
It's
that's
split.
that is good news though
Mm,
for for the people. Again, it's going to provide jobs, it's going to provide income, and like you said, the
Mm-hmm.
better the population does, the better the country is. And I see
Oh,
Malchronics, he says head to Katsu, and that's absolutely the first place we go to get our hash when we get to Amsterdam. So yeah, good call.
But having that medical stamp from the country of origin is important, which now that's what it has. So the pharmaceutical companies can now claim that it's medical because of that reason. So then straight away they just shove it into their pots.
Yeah, man. But sweet.
Good for the people.
That's all 5 news articles we've gone through there. And of course, if anybody sees any news articles they want us to cover on next week's show, then do reach out. Send them to us on Percy'sGrowroom.com, at Discord server. You can email them to me, highonhomegrown@gmail.com, or you can get in contact on X and on Instagram as well. So if you do see articles, let us know. But we have one more piece of news here, just a piece of forum news, and just a shout out to Little Mackie, Bang Switch's new dog, who he has named Mackie. How cool is that?
Awesome.
Yes.
Who you thought was a cat?
I thought it was a cat. Yeah. I was like, he's named the kitten. Named the kitten Mackie, and Billy was like, oh, it's a dog. It's like, oh yeah, it is a dog, isn't it? Yeah. Goddamn stoners. Yes, man. Congratulations on your new dog. Cool name. Yeah. Cool name. Yeah, I don't know what breed it is, Pagan. I'm not sure.
It's definitely going to bark a lot, though, isn't it?
It looks like one of those barking dogs.
Yeah, it's going to bark and bark and bark and give you a funny look now and again. Like,
dogs are the best, man. Dogs are the best. But yeah, that's all the news. Don't forget, of course, we have competitions over at Percy's. If you want to get involved in some competitions, then yeah, come along, get involved. Maybe we'll give away some seeds next week. I was thinking about doing it this week, but it's not all set up and stuff. So yeah, so I'll tell you what, if you want to enter into a competition, everybody, just comment below. Say, yeah, I'll enter in the comments below the video. All right, and yeah, I'll put everybody's name on the list for next week, and we can do a snail race during the show of whoever comments on this video next week, and we can win a pack of well, let's do runts, 3 runts from Barney's farm. How does that sound? Sounds good. Just comment and say, yeah, I'd like to win that, please, and I'll put you on the list for next week. Sounds good. Is that everything? Yeah, I'll leave that in there as well, just in case for the download. So when you're downloading it, then I'll leave the link to the video in the description. So if you downloaded this and you're like, I want to be in that comp, then the link is in the description. Yes. Note to post edit Mackie. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. That's good, right? I think we're good. We'll go chill for 5 minutes. Let's do smoke break.
Love it.
Ooh, yes. Long news that time around. Yeah.
You guys are overachievers with 2 articles. I feel unprepared now.
Yeah, sometimes because we like to do about 5, but it depends how many people we have on the panel that particular week.
That's true.
But yeah, we could have got another one in there if you wanted to. Well, next time you know. Next time you know, bro. Bring 2 if you want to.
All right.
Yeah.
I missed the memo. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, and the first one took up a lot of time as well. You know that politics one, and it's got to be edited out a lot as well. So.
It's a good conversation though.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I mean, as we're asking that question though, I as a cannabis lover and consumer, no, that one issue alone wouldn't make me go for one person over the other. So I don't fit into that.
We did the interview a few weeks ago. You know, you was on the show, did an interview, and I didn't release it because I was going to release it, and then there was the assassination attempt on Trump, and I was like, "Oh, we discussed politics in this. Maybe I should hold this back." So I held it back, and I did a few more interviews, and then I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going to release this now. This is a good conversation." So I'm editing it, just making sure no background noise and all this shit, because I like to listen to it before I send it out, make sure there's nothing too offensive. And it got towards the end, and I explained, I asked you, I was like, "Do you think Biden's going to make it to November 5th?" And I think you said yes, and I gave my theory of, no, I don't think so. I think he's going to drop out, and I think either Gavin Newsom is going to take his place or Kamala Harris will. And look what, I was like, oh my God, nailed it.
But it wasn't out beforehand. So now the conspiracy is that you just are saying it was pre-recorded.
You're trying to give it away, Chad. We recorded it yesterday, you know? We recorded it yesterday, but released it on Wednesday. Dun, dun, dun.
Foiled again now.
Yes.
This conversation was real. It did happen.
Yeah, but it's been an interesting season, man. I do love it. Goddamn, always
Yeah.
hungry at night time. Yeah, everybody chilling in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button and all of that. Of course, everybody. We're moving on to the grow guides very shortly. We're just taking a quick break, and we'll be discussing common mistakes that you should avoid when you're growing cannabis. Don't worry, we're moving on to that in just a couple of minutes. But first, we're chilling. Smoke, everybody. Smoke. Sorry, Chad, you were saying.
What do you call two nuns on the run?
Oh, let me guess. Hold on. Let me. No, I don't have it.
Virgin Mobile.
Oh, that's so bad.
That's dreadful. That is.
That is really bad.
You guys do have them as a phone carrier, correct?
Yeah, bad one. But
Unfortunately, yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not good, but I mean, the joke doesn't quite hit if it doesn't, if it's not over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got so many dad jokes, but can't think of them right now. You know, it's one of those things.
Oh yeah.
But damn, I love dad jokes. Just that dry fucking. What makes dad jokes funny is like they make sense and they could be a joke if they wasn't so shit. You know.
But the older you get, the less in touch you are. So maybe the
definitely.
funnier things seem.
You know, is it a real dad joke unless you have to explain what the pun was? Like, you know, and this and that.
There you go.
I love it, man. You know, and they just drop at random times. You know, when somebody says something or does something, and then you get to drop some lame dad joke. Oh man, funny. I love it. I love it.
Tommy Chong was one that I dropped one on, and the look on his face was priceless. Like, what? And like the first one, he gave me a courtesy laugh, but the second one, I genuinely feel that I got him with it. It was great.
Funny.
But
funny.
yeah, that look of the fuck did I just hear? What? I love it.
Man, have you heard that one? Somebody on the panel is possessed by an owl.
No.
Who?
Oh God!
Come on. Who?
I was this close from falling for it.
Who?
Oh, I should have played along. Damn it. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's terrible, terrible joke.
Don't
funny.
encourage him. Don't encourage him. I'm gonna go and get a drink and let you two carry on with your
Yeah,
dad
sweet.
wanks.
We'll just wait here for a minute.
Yeah, you can reach around each other from distance.
You got issues, you have, Billy. Now he's gone, Chad. It's just me and you. Well, what?
Right on.
What's everybody saying in chat there? Excuse me. Oof. They hit me nice. Yeah, but what's your dad jokes? Everybody drop some dad jokes there in the chat. Do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Man.
this one's a pretty obvious one, but what do you call a magician who lost his magic?
Ishan.
Ian.
All right. Okay. There it is.
Yeah, you're
I got-
close. You just can't spell magic
Yeah.
correctly.
A magic Ishan.
You're a magi? No.
What do you call a man who wears paper underpants?
What?
Russell.
Oh, jeez.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
All right, one more. But what do you call a chicken staring at lettuce?
Chicken Caesar salad. Yes. Fuck.
You win.
What you call a
Chicken
Russian
Caesar
man with 3 balls? Ujanika
Yeah.
Oh shit! Remember that one, Billy? Ujanika Balakov.
Yeah, I
Oh
do
my
remember
god,
that one.
hilarious!
Proper old school joke. That
Ooh.
one. Shit.
Damn, I didn't know if I'd get away with it, but then it's like these Russians. He'll be fine.
Pesky Russians.
You know what I mean? Gosh, funny. Oh god, here's some fire top there. Look, he's got
Fire
when
top,
it's
yep.
a door, not a door. When it's a jar. Badumpt.
I love it. I love it.
Nice. SG2 says, and this is a random question, okay? Is there a technique or system for the Rubik's Cube? Yes. And the best technique is
Absolutely.
called CFOP. All right. So if you want to solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube and you want to learn how to do it, just search for how to do CFOP on Rubik's Cube. And with a little bit of practice, you should be able to get solves in under a minute pretty easily by doing CFOP on a Rubik's Cube. So, I hope that helps.
I love the Rubik's Cube. I saw a quick video clip the other day. They have, obviously the speed trials where, they get blindfolded, they take the blindfold off, and then they do it. This one, take the blindfold off, you get like 2 seconds with the cube, and then they like block your vision from the cube, and you have to solve it. And this kid did it in like 4 or 5 seconds, and they removed, the card from in between it, and he saw that it was solved, and just the look on his face was so priceless. But that's such an amazing skill.
Yeah, my son can solve a Rubik's Cube in less than 20 seconds. And he lets me remember that every day.
I love that.
He solves all the cubes. Like the 3x3 is the original one, but he can do 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, or up to 8x8. And he can do one called a Megament. It's a 12-sided Rubik's Cube. He can do that one in like 3 minutes or something. He's done competitions and stuff. Yeah, he's only 10 and he does all of this. Yeah, he's a smart kid.
Once you see it, you see it. And that's with so many things in life. There's so many moments I've had in life, DJing being one of them, and beat matching, because yes, I did it when there were records and you had to beat match.
Nice.
Back in the day that I got it, like I had been trying it and doing it for like a while, and then there was just one mix, and in my brain I'm like, I get it. Yeah, I see it now. And then from then on, it was, mixed.
It's like Neo in the Matrix, isn't it? It's like now you see it. Now you see it. It didn't make sense, but then all of a sudden, click. Oh, I get it now. Oh, oh. Then you're good.
Yeah, I love opportunities like that. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So everybody, go get yourself a Rubik's Cube. Fucking learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube this week, everybody. That's your homework, okay? Just go do it. Why not? Why not? Get a decent Rubik's Cube for about a tenner. Learn to solve it in a few hours with a little bit of dedication. Instead of just watching Netflix or something, do something, man. Try Rubik's Cube. It's fun. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. And again, that's CFOP. C, the letter C, F-O-P. All right, everybody, get on that shit. Learn how to solve Rubik's Cube. And let me know if you do it. But anyway, who sent us on that tangent? That was USG2. Jesus, don't you know we got a show to do here? Are we ready for the grow guides? Do you need to get a drink or anything, Chad? Are you good? Good to move on?
Oh, I'm good. Ready to roll.
Sweet. All right, let's go to the grow guides. Okay, so here we go. We covered so far, we're on episode 8, right? And we've covered from episode 1 up into episode 8, all little different sections about parts of growing cannabis. So we covered how to plan your grow, to so you can decide what setup to get and how many plants you need. Then what setup to get, what light to get, where to get your seeds, what medium to pick. We covered everything so far. And last week you should have germinated some seeds. Now, it can be a slow process, to say the least. There's not really much to do in the next few weeks. So, and this is going to be the vegetative stage, but we're going to get onto that next week. So I thought what would be good while we have time to discuss something else is to just talk about some common mistakes that we see people make, and we make ourselves, of course, and try and prevent you from making them by making you aware of them in the first place. So I thought that would be a nice idea. Right? Yeah, everybody good? Everybody agree? Yes, Mackie, it sounds very good. It's a good idea for a guide.
It's great.
But yeah, I mean, we all make mistakes, right? Chad, can you remember? We'll put the pressure on you first, Chad. Can you remember any major mistakes you've made while you've been growing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're great learning opportunities. Watering is one that I've made mistakes on. There's this thing called hydrophobic soil. So if you pour water on your soil and it just sits there, you probably did watering wrong. We can get into that if you want. But yeah, that is one of the major things. Also, forgetting to close my tent when the lights go out. Done that a lot. There's many
Mm-mm.
opportunities.
Yep, I've done that before as well. God, there's so many things. I didn't even think of that one. Yeah, like when you've checked the plants and left. Have you got like a blackout curtain over the door of the tent then or something?
No, I just have the tent door, and like I'll leave that open when the lights are on, and then when the lights go off, it's just dark in the room, and
Mm.
sometimes I don't connect it. I'm like, yeah, it's dark as it should be, and then middle of the day, I'd walk in there and be like, oh, the door is open.
Yeah, okay. Because I've got a blackout curtain out the front of my one, so sometimes I've like watered the plants, and I'm in cocoa, so I have to get runoff, so I get runoff, and then I forget to collect the runoff. I haven't done it for a while, but in the past I have, and just left the fucking door open because I didn't go back to the tent. It's like I've got to come back in like half an hour, get that runoff up, and then I don't go back. And then,
Yeah.
and you do that the wrong time, you get Hermes, man. But that's a good place to start, I think. But hold on, let's see what Billy's got. Billy, what's your mistakes, bro? What have you done?
Oh, mostly everything. Like especially
Mm-hmm.
where I perpetual grow. Sometimes it's like I forgot to water that plant in the corner or check it. Think I know they're all done now, and apart from that one, and you come back and you're like, oh shit, yeah, that one didn't obviously get watered, and it's dead. But generally that and labelling, I'm
Oh yeah,
the
fuck.
issues
Ah,
forever with labelling plants, and
man,
then switching the labels with the plants when you're potting up and all that. So, or even when
that's
you've
right.
you've cut
And
down,
when
then
you've
when it with the
harvested
flowers, when you harvested, the whole labelling issue is you need about 500
that
labels just
right
for one
there,
plant.
that's where we should start. Fucking labeling, everybody, because you would have germinated your seeds last week, and if you are growing different strains, then you're gonna need
Yeah.
to label them, and don't just label the pot, because when you label the pot, the sticker can fall off the pot when it gets wet. Maybe the stick is shit. You need a stick, some kind of label that you can put into the soil, so you know exactly what is what. With some permanent
Need more than
marker,
one.
yeah, the more times you can label it, the better. If you want to keep track of your shit anyway, if you don't mind, then don't worry about it so much. But if you want to keep track of which is which, then yeah, you really need to label that shit properly. I've done that so many times, and when it comes to harvesting, you chop everything down and you forget, oh shit, didn't label them as I chopped them, so now I don't know which one is which. That's a pain in the ass as well, especially when you've gone through the whole grow of monitoring, which one is which. And then right at the end there, you fuck it up and you forget which one it is. It's a pain in the ass. Have you done that before, Chad?
No, because like I see how it happens, and I know people that have done it, but I'm pretty regimented about how I do things, and I also keep a grow journal, which is something I recommend to all new growers. So even if I haven't grown it before and I'm not familiar with like the terpene profile or particularly what it tastes like, I can look back at my notes and pretty much be like, okay, yeah, this was the pineapple fritter because it's
Right.
short, bushy, the inner node length, and all of that. So
Mm,
keeping
mm.
good notes can help prevent that. But yeah, my biggest story related to that, and Mr. Magpie, I'm throwing him under the bus here. He has a very big license in his country, and he had like 400 freshly popped seeds. And as he was going to all labeled, mind you, 400, as he was going to transport those into the other room for transplanting, he dropped the cart and everything, like all the tags, all of it, like fell off.
Oh my
Recovered the
gosh.
seedlings, but he had hundreds of things. He's like, well, not going to know what these were.
Damn. It
Yeah,
hurts when that happens, bro. Well, no, I've never been to
it
that
does.
extent, but damn, you know what I mean?
That is a little bit ouch, isn't it? That one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that hurts.
Right. So one of the biggest issues as well we'll find. I mean, that one's a fun one. That happens. Be careful with your labeling, everybody. But what is more likely to happen next is the watering cycle, over or under watering. And of course, again, with this guide, there is a guide over on Percy's Grow Room that covers all of this as well. Common mistakes you make when you're growing cannabis. So if you want to read into that more, then head over to percysgrowroom.com, click on guides, and scroll down a few, and it will be in there. You can read it all there. But for now, we want to talk about overwatering and underwatering, and this is gonna depend on what kind of grow medium you're growing in. Because if you're growing in cocoa, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna overwater it. You're definitely gonna underwater it straight up. If you are growing in cocoa, which many growers do, you need to water your plant every day. All right, you can't overwater it. Water it at least once a day with 10% runoff, and you'll be fine. But soil is a little bit different, right, Chad? You want to explain soil?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more pores for the water to kind of stay inside of the root zone and the soil structure. It also has a bit more retention inside of, or retention capacity, really. And that boils down, there's nutrients, which we'll probably get into because nutrient management is another topic that's usually amongst the top ones to talk about. But yeah, soil will stay wetter longer.
Mm-hmm. So
Moist.
you do this wet and dry cycle, don't you? It's like when you water the soil, you wait for a while until the pot gets reasonably light, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because, roots, they definitely need water. They like water, but they also need air. And so if you just saturate the, soil container, and it's called field capacity, when you start seeing
Mm-hmm.
runoff from the bottom, it's reached field capacity, which is the amount it can hold. But if you reach that, a lot of times it doesn't leave enough oxygen in the root zone, and that can cause fine root hair death. Fine root hairs are what take up your nutrients. But yeah, you let it dry back. You from wet to dry cycles. You can manipulate nutrients that way. But yeah, that is an important thing, which I guess would be different than cocoa, because cocoa, you're not really doing the dry cycle. You're always trying to keep it wet.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
soil, that fluctuation is important to
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
health of the root system and the plants.
Yeah. And this is it. I see it mostly in cocoa. We've seen it many times. People come over to the forum and be like, "What's wrong with my plant?" Be like, "I've been watering it every 3 days," and it's like, "That looks like cocoa. Is that cocoa?" They're like, "Yeah." It's like you have to water every day. Because you get this, and just to explain for the listeners, when you water with cocoa, you're using the salt-based nutrients, and there's a certain dilution, an EC of how many salts are in the water. And as that water evaporates, not the plant just drinking it, the plant will drink some, but it's also going to evaporate. And as it evaporates and the soil, the cocoa gets drier, the salts are left behind, and that raises the EC of the cocoa itself. And that's going to give the plant like newt burn and shit like that because the EC is too high in the root zone. And that's why you always got to keep it damp because that will keep the EC at the correct level rather than there being spikes in pH and EC because it's dried out. So it's a common one. I've seen it many times where people just didn't know that factor about cocoa. So if you're growing a cocoa, you have to water every day. Don't let that cocoa dry out. But yeah, then there's the soil where don't let it stay wet. You gotta go from wet to a little bit dry, and just that you don't want to completely dry it out because there's bacteria in the soil that you want to try and keep alive, but you don't want it wet the whole time. It's
And
difficult to
that's where
explain.
the fun, yeah, well, that's where the fun adage comes in. And I know you've heard this because I've seen it on Percy's, but lift your buckets up.
Hmm,
If it
hmm.
feels half of the weight as when you just watered it, then for soil, it's probably time to water again. So just a good quick reference for people.
I always like to think of it as like, pick up the pot, and if you go, fucking hell, that's light, then it needs watering, you know?
Yeah, that
You know,
too. That
yeah.
too.
Because if you're like, oh, yeah, there's still plenty in that. But if you pick it up and it's like, this should, look at the size of this fucking thing, it shouldn't be that light, then that's when you need to water. Then, right?
Yes.
It's one of them, when you go to pick up something heavy and then it was never heavy as you expected. We've done that so many times with plants. It's like, oh, well, wow, fucking hell, I wasn't expecting that. It's ridiculous how light they get. But buddy, Billy, you're a soil grower. What's your score? What do you do with your watering technique?
I think sort of like you say, the weight is probably the best way to go about it, especially when you've been a soil grower for a while. You sort of know the weight of your soil
Hmm.
should be. When you stick your finger in it, like that, you know how dry or moist it should be from when you last watered, and you can tell. You just get to know. It's
Hmm,
like it's
hmm.
something you learn, but
Yeah, it's practice, isn't it?
it is
Yeah.
practice. But I think the best way just to figure it is like you want the top bit really a little bit dry so you don't get sort of like flies and shit, and then
Hmm.
but you don't want it too bone dry. It's so to me the weight is probably the best way to go by because then
Yeah.
you can tell it's like you say, you can tell how heavy it is true to waterage because you know the weight of your soil originally, really, or you should do, sort of thing. So, yeah, weight is probably the best way I will judge it. How easy I can push it about in its pot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, weight sort of thing.
And I would say this is definitely like the number one of the biggest, at least, if not the most common mistake made by new growers is just having that correct water cycle for the medium they're growing in. You know, if you have any doubts about any of that, then you just come and ask for help over at Percy's and we can get you on the right track, depending on the medium you're in. So pretty much cocoa or hydroponic mediums need constant water, unless it's ebb and flow. That's a different story. But you see, there's so many different ways to do it. It's hard to explain them all. But mostly for hydroponics, you keep the medium wet, watering every day, and for soil, you give a break, and it depends on the size of the pot how long the break is. But yes, common mistake. What's next? We got any other? I mean, we got any other ones? No, that's it. You know.
Do no mistakes, mate. Breaking plants while you're LSTing.
I want you to go to poor nutrient management before we move on to that kind of thing, because that's the next thing I think we see is people, and the most common thing you see is people overfeeding the plants. It's so fucking common. These plants, they barely need anything really. The amount of food they need is pretty shocking. So most new growers will come along and they'll follow the instructions on the back of the nutrient bottle if they're grown with salt-based nutrients, and it's just far too much for the plants all the time. We recommend, pretty simply, start with a quarter of the nutrients, but they recommend, and you can bring it up from there. Less is more. You know, if the plant wants more, then you can give it some more. It's much easier to fix an underfed plant than it is to fix an overfed plant. So keep the food low and build it up slowly until the plant's at a happy level. Don't start off with these huge doses.
And that ties, back to the watering as well, because when the seedlings are young, when the plants are young, they have less of a root structure. So they're going to take less water, and they'll also want lighter nutrients, because you don't want to shock them. But as that grows, you're going to start adding more water. And as you just said, that's when you start bumping up the nutrient levels, which you can measure, ppm or EC. I know there's some good info on that out there and on Percy's. But one thing I wanted to mention too, because we're talking cocoa and we're talking soil, and I saw somebody mention runoff in the chat. Runoff for cocoa is a great way to check your nutrient management, because it will give you a clear indicator of what the nutrient levels are within the root zone. But for soil, it doesn't work the same way. You're not going to get an accurate root zone picture because there's so many different interactions within soil compared to the inert cocoa. But if you're running cocoa, that is a great way to get proper nutrient management, is to pay attention and adjust.
And this is it. It's one of these things, that debate of which medium is best for new growers, and I say cocoa for these reasons. You can tell how much you're planting, if it's eating too much, if it's not eating enough. There's so many things you can find out by just checking the runoff of the plant. And it's easy to fix problems. So it's, but as Chad said there as well, with soil it's different. You can't really tell what's in there and what's available to the plant and shit. So with a lot of soils which you're going to get in the bag as well, don't feed those straight away. There's nutrients in the soil that the plant's gonna have available to it. You have to wait for a while before you start adding salt-based nutrients, and that's only to some soils. Some soils can feed the plant the whole way. It's complex, right? We explained this in the mediums episode as well, everybody. All of this is covered in the grow mediums episode, so you choose which medium is going to be best for you. If you need more info there, check out that episode. I think it's episode 4. Yes.
And I think the the best thing that to remember for people, and like you were saying, is it's easier to fix an underfed plant than it is to fix an overfed plant. So just like taking an edible, start low, go slow, but you can work your way up if you can handle it.
Yeah, man. So that's another common mistake I find. We have the watering. My dog just tried to break in. Come on, in trouble. Come on, Denise. Sorry, everybody.
Yep, that's all right. Dogs will dog. They're cute.
That's right.
I wonder what little Mackie. I wonder if little Mackie is listening to the
Yeah,
show.
shout out to little
Will
Mackie
little
if he's
Mackie
listening
know
to the
your
show.
voice?
Yeah, so
Biting some ankles, probably.
yeah, yeah. So we covered the overwatering, the labeling. Of course, make sure you label your plants properly, everybody. But the over and under watering thing, that's major. That happens a lot. And also, what happens a lot is just feeding the plants too much as well. So make sure you keep an eye on that as you're moving forward too. But and we haven't covered it yet, but we'll be covering it in a few weeks. This is this thing called low stress training, where you start tying the plants down to try and train it into the shape you want it to grow in to increase yield when you're growing indoors, essentially. We'll get to that pretty soon, but Billy brought it up there. Snapping branches. This shit happens. You only want to talk about that, Billy?
Yeah, it happened to me the other day. Like I was just moving the plant, like as you do, like just LSTing it a bit, and and bloom it snapped, and bollocks, and then yeah, so it's like, well, you just got to cope with it in you and carry on. Like, but what can you do? So you can't unsnap the thing, can you? Really, you just gotta, like, either lop the cunt off and think that fuck it, or just let it try and mend itself and let it carry on. Because if it mends itself and carries on, then the plant's like, yeah, grooving. I'm happy with that. You've got to give it some
That's
support.
what you should do. If anybody gets concerned, if you've accidentally snapped a branch on your plants, because accidents happen, man, then just put like a stint on it or something, a piece of wood, something that's going to be able to hold the break in place, and just sellotape it back up, duct tape. And this, even if it has completely fallen off, it's completely separated from the branch, you can still sellotape it back on, give it a day or two, and it will fix itself. These plants are hardy as fuck. You've seen this before, right, Chad?
Absolutely. It is amazing. And I'm always like, if you have even a little like shoestring of fiber connecting that branch to the main stem, yeah, just splint it, tape it, secure it, it will grow back. Like it's pretty darn amazing.
Yeah. I've been through some bad breaks, but it's always been fine. So don't be concerned about it too much, everybody. Don't panic, and just come and ask for help over at Percy's. We'll tell you what you have to do. But
just see it as like you're topping your plant when you weren't really meant to, and like carry on. And it's not this don't cry over spilt milk sort of thing. It's a plant. It's going to grow. In 2 years' time, you won't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, well, I mentioned something there as well, which is another mistake that people do often. That is panic. Just don't panic.
Yeah. Just don't panic. Yeah, get a towel. Wear a towel around your neck. Don't panic.
Yeah, fucking. What a reference, everybody. Where's that reference come from? But it's so easy to do it when you're a new grower and you start seeing things go wrong and you panic. You react to it when you're not really sure what you're doing, and sometimes you make this whole situation worse by doing the wrong thing. So don't panic. Just come and get help over at percysgrowroom.com if you do have any issues about anything. We've all been there. There's lots of members. We've all been through a lot. So you come and ask. We probably know the exact thing that needs to be done to get you through the situation. So just don't panic. Like if you see spider mites and shit, and then you're like, quick, spray bleach on it. You've gone fuck things up. Yeah, it's going to kill the spider mites, but the plant's not going to be happy. You know what I mean? So make sure you do the right thing. Don't panic. Come and ask for help.
And the plant's going to look at you like you're a right cunt, innit? Spray bleach on it.
And when they say kill it with fire, they don't mean actually kill it with fire. It's just a saying.
Yeah.
I mean, patience is a big part of growing. It's an important part of growing.
That's the biggest virtue in growing, isn't it? Patience, waiting for it to finish the buds off, waiting for it to finish the cure, waiting for it to fucking do everything. Literally, you're waiting. It's a waiting game. Not that I'm going to rant about waiting for your plants, but that's what it is.
You get used to
the whole thing,
isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's definitely one of them as well. Is patience, having patience for the plants as well. This shit, it takes just expect it to take longer than expected. It's easy for people to be like, oh, this plant should be a 70-day flowering period, and I flipped the plants 72 days ago, so it's done now, and it probably isn't. You have to have that extra patience to wait an extra couple of weeks just to see if it's just give it a little bit more time. It might be done at that time, but just expect there to be another couple of weeks on that.
When the seed producer says 8 weeks, that's just a guide, man. It's not like heavenly sent, and like after 8 weeks, it's definitely done. Sometimes it's down to environment.
Right. What other mistakes do we have here? Sorry, was you adding something, Chad?
Yeah, I was just going to say that goes back to the nutrient management as well, because that is a pretty common mistake for people, new growers, if they see what they think is a deficiency, to add something, and then if they don't see an immediate result, they'll add more of it, when in reality it may be unavailable to the plant.
Or it might need
but
less.
plentiful in the soil.
Some excesses look like deficiencies. You know, so you just need to come and get some help if you're in that situation with the whole nutrient shit. Just come and ask for help. If you're unsure about anything,
be patient.
That's it. Be patient, man. Just nothing's going to happen in 24 hours. So you might look at a plant and be like, oh shit, this leaf's going yellow. What do I do? It's not going to, like, the whole plant's not going to be dead tomorrow. You know what I mean? You've got 24 hours to figure out what the problem is, figure out how to fix it, and then address accordingly. And if you need help figuring out what the problem is, and it's always better to get a second opinion, just head over to percysgrowroom.com. I don't want to keep spamming that link at you, but, you know, because I said it many times so far in this episode. But if you do need help with any of this, if you make any mistakes and you need help, that's the best place to head, because we can help you out over there directly with whatever specific issue you have. So don't be shy if you do have issues. But damn, I thought a common one which we see as well is drying incorrectly. It is very, very, very important to let your cannabis dry properly before you put it into jars or an airtight container, whatever you're using. You know, you need to get to a stage where the buds are snapping off the branch with a nice little audible snap. You don't want it folding or tearing off. I mean, you can do it. You can take it off there and start the cure from there. But the best way to do it is to make sure that it's got that little snap in it. But if you leave it for too long, it's going to be too dry. But you need to get to that snapping stage so you can cure properly. And we'll figure this. We'll talk about this further on down the line when we get to those specific episodes. But don't worry about it too much now. But that's one I've seen often as well. Myself personally, is just putting things into jars too soon. Because, you know, when the moisture disperses through the bud and ruins terpenes, and it's like as wet as it was when it was hanging, when the moisture's dispersed again. So just be careful of that one.
That surprises people, new growers, especially if you're going through it for the first time, because you've waited until it's dry on the vine, as they would say, and, you know, you can snap the little buds off and they feel dry. But when you put it in the jar, and if you seal that jar right away, all that moisture, like you said, from the middle comes out, and that can ruin it. So yeah, that definitely is an unexpected thing for new growers to come across when they're drying. And if you spent 3 months babying this plant and you ruin it in the last couple of weeks, it's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. And what other mistakes do we have here? What do you think, Billy? You got another one? I mean, there's so many to think of, so many to choose from.
Literally everything in it. You're spoiled for choice here. Like, I think breaking equipment is, like, I think a big thing which we all do. If you know what I mean, like fans broken, you've kicked over, or I think the biggest mistake people make is just forgetting how much equipment they collect over the time and what to fucking do with it.
Yeah. You just got to fucking loads of shit up in your loft. You know,
space. I think that's the biggest mistake we all forget is how much space you really need over a long period of time.
You know, well, hold on, space inside the grow tent. That's one of the mistakes I've made many times. It's like I have a 4x4, and I'll be like, yeah, I can put 5 in here. You can't put 5 in there. You can only put 4 in. Fuck the amount of times to put 5 and then be like, oh, this ain't working out. Well, the plants are too cramped. So you don't know what space you're working with. Yeah.
If you go right, you can only just need 1 in there. If you could just like vegetate for like 6 months and just have 1 plant swarming an entire room. It depends on how you grow and how quick you're on your growth cycle, doesn't it? Really?
That's right. Each plant, as we explained in the Planning Your Grow episode, which was episode 1, each plant needs around 2 foot by 2 foot of space, and that's for a necessarily small cannabis plant. They can get much bigger than that if you let them grow, you know. So just on average 2 foot by 2 foot, 4 plants in a 4x4. don't put the fifth in. If you've got a 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter, 2 foot by 2 foot grow tent, one is good in there. You might be able to squeeze two, but just be cautious of the space you have and don't overdo it. It's better to have a little bit of space for airflow than have plants squashed, unhappy, and suffering with mold. You know, because that shit happens.
You're better off having one plant less and keeping like 3 plants than having 4 plants and getting mold and losing all 4.
Exactly,
really.
exactly. So bear that in mind, everybody. What's next? Light leaks. Light. Now this is an important one for anybody growing photoperiod plants out there. If you keep disturbing your plants at random times when it's in the night time, so you're like, oh, I'm gonna go look at my plants because the lights are on, you're risking the plant hermaphroditing. Hermian is what we call it, and then that's when a female plant starts to grow male parts, and then it will pollinate itself and other plants, and there'll be seeds in your bud. You don't want that to happen, and one of the main causes of that happening is just random light leaks getting to the plant during the night hours. What would you say about this, Chad? You're going to know more because you breed cannabis and stuff. What do you think?
Well, yeah, light leaks is a really common one. And you kind of mentioned one of the really important variables. It's when you're interrupting the cycle. You know, I mentioned earlier, like I left, the tent door open and there's a little bit of light leak from the veg tent into the flower tent. So it didn't really go to sleep when it should have. Not as bad, even though you want to prevent that, but interrupting the cycle. Phytochrome 1 and phytochrome 2 receptors, you can Google it. I'm not going to bore you. But those basically go to sleep and wake up. And when it gets interrupted, they wake up and they start their normal cycle. It's not the right time. And then, you correct it. It goes back to sleep. That can cause havoc. And like you said, it can bring out intersex traits on plants pretty easily. That's one of the more common
and you're right. Yeah, it's the unscheduled. It's like the full moon. Like, for example, at nighttime, a cannabis plant can deal with light up until the full moon. It's not bothered by that so much. But it's the irregular light patterns. If you're visiting at random times throughout the day, numerous times, that's going to stress the plant out. And when you stress it to that extent, it's going to hurt me. That's essentially it.
Yeah, because that is a huge point that outdoor growers always bring up. They're like, well, we've been growing outdoors for years and we have bright enough moons where you can see your shadow. And that's absolutely true. So they did, Dr. Bruce Bugbee, Apogee Lights, he looked into it. And it really has to do with the intensity, the angle, the duration, and the spectrum. So your little red light on the power strip, not really going to cause a problem. I still cover it because I'm superstitious, but it really is that interruption, as we were saying, that kind of kicks the negative effects off.
Yeah, man. Yeah, nice explanation. That's cool. That's one which caught me. That has caught me out a few times. Is the whole fucking light leaks and the Hermie thing. Bastards. But it happens.
Yes. This may sound crazy, but it's fun to do. As you buy a new tent, set a very bright and intense light outside of the tent, facing right at the zippers or anything you would consider may leak light. And then go inside and be inside your tent, zipped up for at least 5 minutes to let your eyes adjust. And if you've got a very, very bright light outside and you don't see anything inside, even checking the zippers, then you're probably good. But that's how I test for it. All tents will have a small amount of light leaks in the zippers. That's just how it works. But to what degree, you can be the judge.
And that's why I have a blackout curtain over my tent as well. Just to make sure that it's fucking covered up. There's ways around it. But that's a great idea. Getting in the tent. Sorry, Billy. Yeah.
Do Hermie plants tuck themselves in at night?
Jesus. Yes, they do.
Well, it's dad joke night, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah, but that was like an awkward dad joke.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I am. I'm an awkward dad joke type of person.
Yeah, man. So we've had the label in the plants. That was a big one, and that's all the way through. Monitor that all the way through. Don't just give up halfway through and start labeling shit, because you're gonna need to keep doing it when you move plants around. do that. Then what did we have as well? We had the overwatering, underwatering, poor nutrient management, ignoring pH. That's another one. There's some controversy when it comes to soil growing, especially about monitoring the pH of your cannabis. If you're growing in a hydroponic medium, then there's not really any debate to it. You need to have your plants between 6.8 and 6.2 as at a pH level, and then the plants are going to be happy. Let it swing in between those two levels. That's perfect. But 5.8, especially in veg, and it can be a little bit higher in flower with the 6.2, but just let it swing in between there and you're fine. But when it comes to soil, it needs to be around neutral, which is 7. Now you can go 6.5, 7.5, and that should be okay. But there's some controversy where people will say that you don't need to pH when you're growing in soil, and that might be the case. Because some soils are treated with dolomite lime is the shit, that's what it's called, and that will help keep the pH within the correct range. But it would only help, I think, and I'm not really a soil grower, but this is just my opinion. I've grown soil a few times, but there's a thing called acid rain, man. We doubted with it in the 80s. We was all scared of acid rain because it was killing the fucking plants. So those plants were grown in soil outdoors in like real forests and shit, but the soil was still getting too acidic. So they started to die. So it does matter, in my opinion, when you're growing in soil, just try and give your plant that correct pH and it will be much happier, in my opinion. But what do you think, Chad? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, with soil, I've always pH'd because I haven't always been using like a living soil. The living soil is different, and that's usually where I see the to pH or not to pH conversation with soil growers. I mean, if it's going synthetic, yeah, still always I would do it. But the thought behind that is with the living soil, the microbial activity, if you have a healthy microbial activity, they kind of regulate and buffer the pH. Like they have their excretions, which are actually the plant available nutrients, they have their own pH. So it's thought that they really control and buffer the pH around the rhizosphere, which is that very small slice of area around the roots. And that's where it actually matters the most. So yeah, the living soil folks, usually, Tad Hussey from Kiss Organics, I know he's been a guest on the channel, but I use his organic nutrients and I talk with him frequently, and he's like, 6.5, 6.8 is usually where he's trying to keep his pH. That's typically, or fortunately for me, that's like what comes out of the tap. So I don't have to do much adjusting there. But yeah, when it comes to soil, if you're going synthetic route, I still recommend the pH. If you're going living soil organic and you have healthy microbial community, people seem to not think it's as important, but I'm that guy who still double checks anyways.
Yeah. That's it. Double check anyway. And if you do start to get issues with your plants when you're growing in soil, you can't figure out why, check the pH, man. It is probably the pH. And some soils, as I said, they have shit built into them that helps keep the pH in check. The dolomite lime and other ingredients as well. And that will help. But again, it will only help. Most people have soil that is around 7. Good and neutral. Plants going to be happy with it. But there are people who grow with hard water, which got a lot of calcium in it and shit, and that pH is going to be a lot higher or lower. I'm not sure which direction it goes, but there are extremes as well. So just be wary of that. Make sure that your pH is suitable for the plant, in my opinion. pH is more important than you think. Yeah. What were you saying, Billy, about your water? What's the score there?
Yeah, living soil, man. So I don't really have to worry. I just I check it every now and again just to make sure that it's what it is, if you know what I mean. That it's
How's your water? Is it hard water?
No, it's soft because I live in Cornwall, mate. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So
Fucking hell, fresh from the mountains and shit, yeah.
Almost, yeah. But so even though we had a water poisoning issue back like 40 years ago, but that's not an issue either. But yeah, still, no, I don't have to worry. So it's quite easy. That's the nice. That's why I switched to the living soil and stuff to stop me having to doing too much shit like that.
Yeah, man.
To be honest, it's just I want it as simple as possible.
Yeah, man. It's the best way to do it. Simple as possible. Pick what works for you and go with it, no matter what it is.
Add worm shit.
Yeah,
that's about all I do with my water, really. I leave it water to sit for like 12, 24 hours with some worm shit in it, and then give it a good stir. And that's
And
about
there's
that's
so many
about all.
more to add to this as well, isn't there? There's so many mistakes that everybody is going to make throughout their growing career. But the biggest mistake is to stop doing it because it was too difficult. You know, that you just need to keep persevering through with this shit. You know, you'll make mistakes. There will be errors. You might accidentally kill a plant sometime. You know, that's just the way it goes. But you just have to keep on pushing forward with it, and you'll be fine. Uh, one more, I think. I think we can squeeze one more in. Is just want to cover like harvesting a plant too early as well. This can be easy to do, especially when you're a new grower, because you know the plant looks done, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, I got all this nice weed. Let me get this shit down. Let me get it dry. But don't do that, man. The last couple of weeks of your plant's growth during the flowering stage there, the buds are gonna fatten out so fucking much. You know, if you just leave it for a couple of weeks longer, you're gonna get more yield, and the THC and the cannabinoids are gonna be more mature as well. It's gonna be a higher quality. So though it can be very tempting to chop a plant earlier than you're supposed to, try your hardest not to do it. That extra couple of weeks will make a big difference. You agree with that, Billy?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I like about the perpetual growing is that you can wait that extra week or two. I think I'll leave that plant and you ain't under pressure to actually chop your grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely choosing the time when to do it is really important, and obviously waiting definitely.
Mm-hmm.
If you need, that's why I said the microscope sort of definitely to look at your plants is probably the best way to do it rather than anything else. But wait for was it the brown or the to go a bit more musky? Like you want that more. But it depends if you're looking for hash as well. So that's why I think a scope is the best way. What are you actually growing for? Are you growing to Yeah, so that's why I think that's where that's important is knowing what you're growing for and when you're going to pick it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an important issue.
Which
Some
is
people
what
making hash might want to take it really early to have like a creamy, milky hash rather than a darker hash. So
there's just another one which I wanted to squeeze in there before I forget about this. Fucking bag seed. If you're a new grower and you're looking at growing, you don't really want to use bag seed. I mean, this is seed that you've just found in cannabis that you bought from somewhere. There's a seed in it, so you grow it. I mean, it might turn out to be something good, but you don't want might. You want this will be some good shit. So just start off with good genetics. Don't go out and buy random bag seed, find random bag seed and grow that because you're just going to waste your time necessarily. In most cases, it's not going to turn out good. It will hermy. It will be seedy. You don't want any of that shit. Just make sure you get proper seeds. But yeah, that's a big mistake you see people make.
Established producer, established strain first few times. Then you can start experimenting once you know.
Yeah, and then grow the bag seed. When you've got weed, grow the bag seed. That's cool. You know.
Until you've got jars and jars of it, then leave the bag seed in the bag.
And then just to finish off there, don't be afraid to ask for help. Not asking for help is one of the biggest issues as well. And I've mentioned Percy's Grow Room many times. But that's where you want to go. If you have issues, if you have any questions, if you just need any help at all, just head over to Percy's Grow Room and ask for help. We are always happy to help, you know, and just don't be shy. Don't be like, oh, I can't post on a forum because I'm growing illegally and shit like that. You'll be fucking fine. Don't worry about none of that shit. No, they ain't looking for us. We're just a small little forum in the corner of the internet. No. They go to Instagram to find these guys nowadays, or that Telegram. You heard about that shit? You know,
even if you got mentalism issues, like come to us, we can help you. We've had to grow good weed to get out of their mentalism issues.
What's a mentalism issue? Is that where you can move things with your mind?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Right.
You've seen them scanners and all of that, ain't you?
Yeah.
Jedi mind tricks renamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that is not the end of the mistakes, everybody. Unfortunately, there's a lot more. We've managed to prepare you for a few there, the most common ones which we do see. So you know, bear those in mind as you're moving forward. Next week we're going to be discussing specifically the vegetative stage of what you're going to see come up over the next few weeks of the grow and what you can do to increase yield and things like that. It's going to be cool. But I wanted to just get these covered, just to try and prevent you guys from making those mistakes which we've made ourselves many times before. So
setting an alarm so you know what time you're looking at your plants, so you don't forget as well. Just setting a daily alarm on your phone is a good thing.
No, you just don't disturb them when the lights are off. That's what I do.
Yeah, but no, but when they're on, so you know, because when you've just started growing, you sort of
Yeah,
don't
true.
realise that you've grown. So, oh shit, I'm growing weed. Fuck, oh, how are my plants? Yeah. Give yourself an alarm so you don't get that fuck yeah, I'm growing weed moment. Like, yeah,
Man, good
but
times.
make it part of
Yeah.
your daily routine, sort of thing.
And just thinking back there with Billy saying that, to when I first started growing and shit, how much of a nice time that was, man. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it now, but it becomes normal. You know what I mean? But when
Yeah.
it's fresh and it's a new hobby, and how exciting it is, and how fun it is to
Yeah.
grow. Now I've just got 4 plants. It doesn't even matter. I don't look at it in the same way. It's not even 4 cannabis plants. They're just 4 plants. No harm to anybody. I'm not doing anything wrong. Before it was like, oh God, man, I can't go out stinking of weed and watching other helicopters doing this. It's like, man, them early days are fun, you know.
Why does it taste so good? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, because he's got the crime. That's right. That's right, everybody.
That Seymour's gonna come out at night and get you.
Good times.
Yeah. No, it's personal possession. You're not really posing a risk or a threat to anybody, so it does feel a little bit more comfortable. But we're always on edge, unfortunately, until things change. So keep talking about it. Keep the conversation going.
Said this to the wife the other day. I was out on a dog walk, and she smokes. Out on the dog walk. I don't smoke when I'm out because I'll get too high too quick. But she enjoys a spliff, so we're walking the dog. She's smoking a joint, and then some people came over, and she's hitting a joint. She's putting an airtight jar and all this. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I don't want to know I'm smoking. I'm like, what the fuck? You were the reason we still have stigma. It's like, fuck them people. You don't know them people. Who fucking cares if they think that you smoke or see you smoking shit? Who fucking gives a shit? Let them see it.
I stand purposely outside the shop finishing my spliff right at the end, right outside the shop, so I stink out everything. Like, fuck yous.
And the thing is as well, Billy, is like how many, well, let's say for the dog walk example, what if that old lady who we walked past was also hiding her spliff because she didn't want to seem like a druggie? You know what I mean? Yep. This shit happens, man. How many friendships have been lost from two people who love smoking weed, say workmates, who were real good workmates, but there was one thing they always kept hidden from each other. They both enjoy cannabis. Imagine if they just was like, yeah, smoke weed, you smoke weed? Yeah, smoke weed. That's like best man at the wedding kind of shit then. You know what I mean? It's a shame.
Yeah, saying that, imagine that how many best men at weddings have been missed because of that moment there.
Yeah, man.
Just in the workplace. Like, instead of they've chosen some dickhead they don't really like because they haven't really got an actual friend.
Yeah.
Stupid, isn't it?
I wish there was somebody who could share this Maui Wowie with.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've got
you got a friend. Give me a call, man. I share that Maui Wowie with you. Yeah. So, yeah, that's... and, of course, as I said, there's lots of mistakes as well. Even with all those that we've mentioned, there's still loads more. Anything to add?
Biggest mistake? Not getting started.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just
tripping up your equipment.
What do you mean, tripping up the equipment?
Your tent, especially your tent. When you open up your tent and like you go to step in and you forget that there's poles there, just some stupid reason. Like,
hitting your head off lights. Yeah.
Just little things like that. Yeah, everyone's done that. Like, like caught your finger in the fan as you move it a little bit. Like, you're like, oh, you bastard. Like, yeah, just stupid mistakes.
So I think that's all the mistakes for now. There'll be more, and we'll if we do any mistakes with our own grow in the future, we will let you know about them. We are not ashamed to say we are human and we make mistakes all the time as well. Don't worry. But we also have some listener mail questions. We've got a couple of those. Should we get to those?
Please.
Let's do it. Quick shout out again to Little Mackie, Bang Switch's new dog. Is a good name. I like it. Well, forgot to mention there as well, Coach Clay on Tuesday. Clone Coach is the guy who's going to be on the show on Tuesday for an interview, and he's going to talk about cloning and stuff. I can't remember who wanted us to get that guy on, but somebody reached out and said, "Can you get this guy on the show talk about clones?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck, I'll give it a shot." And yeah, it worked. We got him on the show. So whoever that was, thank you. But anyway, for the listener mail this week, we have Adam Baum. Hey guys, new here. Inside joke. You know what I'm saying? But I have a question for everybody on the show today. I think I'm going to fill the tent up with a skunky smelling strain on the next run. So I'm curious, do you guys have a go-to strain when you're feeling the skunk? What are you saying, Billy? You got something for this?
Yeah, that is one thing I'm sort of hunting myself, which is why I've got some mature bits ones.
Well, something skunky.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know, to be honest. That's what I'm hunting myself, and so that'd be nice to know.
Yeah, I mean, something skunky. Wouldn't it be nice to? You all know. I hope you all know that skunky, that fucking that flavor of the skunk weed, man. Damn.
It's like number one.
That's a trigger word in the U.S. when it comes to cannabis. Is skunk. There's so many arguments over what skunk actually is. There's a big contingent about like roadkill skunk, which is offensive, foul. Like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. But as cannabis consumers, we love it. And then there's like sweet skunk. But the funky skunk is what I think he's implying.
Yeah, I know what it means. Yeah,
skunk,
and the reason why there's so much controversy about what it actually is because it's so difficult to describe what the actual flavor is. You know, it's like you need somebody to passion that shit and go, "This is skunk, bro." You know what I'm saying? And then you try that shit and be like, "Oh, that's skunky." Yeah, I know what you mean now. I know what you mean. But if you've just been told, "Oh, this is skunk," you're from like seed or something, you know, you don't know unless you actually. I don't know, you've hit that shit before from back in the day. That skunk,
so Dominion Seed Co. It's a company based in the U.S. Duke Diamond is the breeder behind it. He has a lot of those kind of skunky, gassy type of things. And the one strain when I read that Local Skunk by Dominion Seed Co. is where I would go to try to hit that just like offensive, funky skunk. With a lot of power behind it. Yeah.
Delicious.
That's where I'd go.
So again, it depends on which country you're in as well, doesn't it? That's where you get your seed.
Yeah, not every country has skunks. That's what we don't understand here in America. We're like the roadkill skunk. They're like,
we don't have those. Yeah. But we know what skunk weed is.
Yeah.
You know, I know what a skunk potentially smells like.
Yeah, skunks smell really bad. And for those of you who have never known about them or encountered them, their self-defense mechanism, if you get close to them, they raise their tail and they shoot out a spray. That is
You've seen Disney films, bro.
Okay, Pepe Le Pew, right? Pepe Le Pew. I'm sorry.
It's in loads of movies. You know when the skunk sprays somebody? Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's what people are kind of talking about when they're like, it's the roadkill skunk. It's like, it smells like that offensive. So yeah, you're right though. I'm thinking of all the movies now.
That's right.
All the movies with the skunk.
I suppose it's like when you're sitting in the car park and everyone smells what you're smoking, sort of thing, and you're just in the car.
100%
locked, like
yeah. You smell it from a mile away.
Budsy Malone says, just started, but literally walking through London now with my phone out. Yeah. So he must be all the way back at the start of the episode. Good luck out there, Budsy. I hope you make it to listen to this section of the show.
Yeah. That would be an achievement in itself.
Right, yeah, so did that answer Adam's question? I think it did. I think he had a nice place to go and find it there as well. Nice one, Chad. Good reference.
Thank you.
This joint is for you guys from Jeff Gates. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that, man. I hope it's a skunky one, bro. Well, last question here from Phil. From Phil Me Balls. He says, Dear HOHG, every Sunday my phone alarm is set to notify me that HOHE is about to start. Nice advice there. I recommend that for everybody so you don't forget about the show each week. We are here Sunday at the same time every week, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Set a reminder. Why not, eh? So here's my question. Why does everyone say your alarm going off instead of your alarm going on? Right, yeah, so he's got two questions. That's the first question. But that's
I love it.
Why do they do that?
Yeah, because it's all going off rather than all going on.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
both.
a good question. Yeah,
It's both. He hacked
yeah.
the matrix with that question.
Yeah.
It's got me thinking about why, because it's usually you can find something like there's a reason behind most reasons why we say things, like, you know, let the cat out of the bag. You know that one?
Yeah, because it's like knocking yourself off rather than knocking yourself on, sort of thing.
Ah,
Ah,
yeah.
Whacking
yeah.
off. No,
yeah,
wait. No.
whacking on, whack off, whack on. Different film is that?
Wax on, wax off. Karate
Yeah, that's the
Kid.
film.
Love that movie.
Misquoted, misinformation.
Oh,
You know?
we're gonna get done for misinformation now. Fucking hell.
Oh, shit.
Bloody misinformation, people.
Yeah, but it's a good question for sure. Why do we say that random thing? God damn. Yeah.
Blame the internet. That's what I would do.
Anybody got any suggestions in chat there? Anybody got a reasonable answer to this?
You're actually asking chat for a fucking response. Are you
because
mad?
you're here on the panel. We don't need to worry about what's reading in chat
that's
anymore.
That's a good
you know?
point. Fucking good point. Good point.
You know,
Touché.
yeah, but interesting question there, Phil. We'll go on to the second question and see if anybody else can answer that question in the chat there. We can't answer that one. We usually answer them. It's shit. Why does the alarm go off instead of on? Because you would think it comes from the you know, the old alarm clocks with the bell, like go, you know them. That's not going off, is it? Wow, yeah, you got me with that one, Phil.
Yeah,
I don't know. My brain hurts.
Anyway, second question from Phil. We have does Billy have a favorite pair of socks, and is it because they are very soft, or do they conveniently stand up by themselves in a corner?
You'd only find that on secret sessions that I'll whisper to you secretly, mate, in your ear. So unfortunately,
nice.
That's information that's going to stay with
and
me.
Speaking
of
grease
my palm with cash.
Or hash.
And you may find
hash
out.
coins.
Or hash. Yeah, hash coins. Yeah. That's a good point, Mackie. Grease my palm with hash coins and you show 9.
Hey, man, like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, isn't it? Here's some hash coins. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Good shit. But yeah, speaking of secret sessions, this will go out on Friday, which will be the last Friday of the month. And you know what happens on the last Friday of the month? We have a session in the Zoom room with the Patreons where we just go there and we chat some shit about loads of shit. You know, whatever comes up, really. Talk about anything. We have some good conversations in there. It doesn't go live. It doesn't go public. We just sit there and we talk about anything. And we can talk about anything. The conversation destructs when we leave the room. There's no recordings or anything. So it's it's free to just speak your fucking mind and not have to worry about what you're talking about. So if you're up for that kind of thing and you're a patron, make sure you join us in the session. You'll find the link in the VIP room on the Discord or over on postysgrowroom.com. So, come and join us, man. It's good fun. And of course, Chad, you are welcome to join us for the Patreon session as well if you're free at that time. But I know you're a very busy guy, but still, bro, if you wanted to come and join us, chat some shit, you are more than welcome.
Thank you.
But that's it. That is, yeah, did you talk about the socks, Billy? I think you were good with the socks, right?
Yeah, I'm good with the socks, man. Yeah, that's my answer. Yeah.
You can buy Billy socks.
But I'd say pull them up harder would be also another thing to do. Pull it harder. Yeah, that would help.
Beautiful.
And the socks.
Wow. I don't know how he does it every time. Chad just makes things worse. It's terrible. He just keeps digging deeper and deeper. Funny. But that's all the questions I think we have, right?
I think so. Did you see any in chat? There weren't none in chat.
Yeah, was there any questions in chat? Did anybody mention about that alarm going off one as well? Let me see. No, I don't think so.
No. But if your alarm goes off, we still turn it off, right?
Oh yeah, the alarm's going off. Let me turn it off. That makes no fucking sense, does it?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to change vocabulary here. Yeah, it's gonna have to be my alarm's on.
Yeah, it could have beat the Matrix here.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to see that fucking black cat walking past the doorway over and over again until we fix this now.
But that's it. Are we done? I think that's everything. There's no questions. Dad joke. One more dad joke before we go there, Chad. Do you have one, good sir?
Why are pirates so cool?
Because they are.
Because they are.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Very
Let's
good,
go to the
yeah.
outro. Fucking because they are. Jesus. That's a good ending, though. It's a good ending to the show, I think. Man, but
Proper.
it's been awesome. Thanks for coming to join us, Chad. We appreciate you coming along and spending a few hours with us, man. It's been a busy one, but a long one at least. We've been here for a while now. We appreciate your time, man. Thanks very much.
My
Yes,
even the dad
absolutely my
jokes.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
thank you, Mackie. Yeah, I got to tell dad jokes. My day is freaking complete.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I didn't tell enough dad jokes today. That's sad. But next time, maybe join us on Friday if you're free. Of course, no pressure, man. No pressure. I don't want to put you under any pressure. I just want you to know that you're welcome, you know?
Well, thank you. Yeah, send me a link and let me know what time it is, and I'll see what's popping off on Friday, or is it popping on Friday?
Oh,
I don't know anymore.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh, no.
Shit.
Oh. But it wouldn't be popping on, would it? Because you would have to pop and land on something for that. And it's popping on.
But I would be popping on the show. I wouldn't be popping off the show.
Calm down, Billy.
Yeah.
You
But, but in this country, when you say like popping off with something that like your auntie would say, I'm just popping off to the shops or something like. I'm just nipping
But
out.
like if it's popping off, it's going on. Like, dude, this party's popping off.
Yeah, this
which
part
means
is
it's going
popping
on.
off. Yeah, which is going on. Yeah, so it's that on
hurts.
off again. Yeah, that hurts,
Wow.
man. So we don't know if it's on or off again yet.
Very nice question, man.
Wow.
I think that's the only question we haven't been able to answer on High and Homegrown so far. We've had them all, other than that one.
Wow.
Madness.
I'm glad I could have been here for it.
Yeah. Special experience, man. Madness. But that's
It's gonna
everything.
consume the rest of my day.
It's been a good show. I've enjoyed it very much. Thanks to everybody for coming join us. Thanks to everybody out there in chat as well, of course. And I did say that if you want to win some seeds for next week, was it runts? 3 runts from Barney's Farm, then just drop a comment in the comments below. Or you know, if you're listening to the video, I'll put the link of the YouTube video in the downloads description. So if you just head there, click that, you'll go to the video, and then you'll be able to enter. I don't know, if we get more than 100 comments, then we'll do 2 prizes. Sounds good? Does sound good. But that's it. I think that's it. You want to tell everybody where to find you again, Chad?
Sure, yeah, just chadwestport.com or Chad Westport on YouTube and chad.westport on Instagram.
Beautiful. And there we go, everybody. We will catch you on the next one. Tuesday, if you're a patron, for the clone coach guy. That's going to be cool. We'll see you then. Stay high, stay safe. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, waving.
Peace
Goodbye.
out.
Everybody wave.
Yeah, I think they can see us waving.
I think so.
Yeah.
I was doing it anyways, though.